It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Suns get blown out. KD is out for at least a week. D-backs are in New York, and ASU is playing basketball tonight. Welcome in, Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, ESPN 620 from the studios here at the Four Letter Network in Phoenix. We welcome you for the next 3 hours as we will preview Duke today, as we'll have the beat writer for Duke to join us. We also will catch up with one Craig Fouey for Factor Fouey, and then Frank Sanders and Mike Adris in the last hour. But we get started here as the Phoenix Suns get blown out. It's the story, but the bigger story is KD. Will he return? With 7 games remaining of the season, will this 1 week turn into 2 weeks, turn into 3 weeks? He's not on the road trip, but to me, it sounds like you just
shut him down.
Shut him down.
Yeah, game, fed, match.
You know, from the looks of it, it looks as though the team's already shut itself down, so why not just shut him down too?
Yeah, I think watching the 2 games, and when you lose by 40, whether he's playing or not, I think that you watch his team kind of shut it down or go through the paces. I hate to say that, guys, but I mean, this team is totally flatlined. There's really no chance to revive them unless it's a miracle for them to win. But now Bradley Beal, he's questionable day to day. He's been playing some 5-on-5. KD's out. So when you're going into Milwaukee, you got a snowball's chance in hell. When you're going to Boston, you got a snowball's chance in hell. And then the Knicks, these 3 road games,
same deal.
Snowball's chance in hell. I mean, it's to your point, Rock. You play a lot of the young guys, play it out. Obviously, they're going to try to do as much as they can to win these games.
What do you mean, obviously?
No. Well,
that's not true.
No.
Well, if
you'd be the front office, I mean, they're going to blow this thing up. I mean, wait till you hear from
after the season's
Smith
over,
a little bit later.
Sure, I'm sure after the season it will. But I mean, whether you have all the goods or not, I don't think this team was capable when you see 2 blowouts or 2 losses that you see, and then losing. They were down. You think about that, losing by dang near 40. They were down by 41 at one time.
They were,
and then they got back within 30, and then they get beat by 39 points. Just it's embarrassing. At least a little effort, guys. Little effort one way or the other was not there in this game.
If I was Coach Bud, I would have been on the phone to all the guys in the G League. Hey, get here, get in the locker room, suit up, because the guys who are on the floor suck pond water, and you guys are playing the second half. That's how bad and deplorable that performance was by NBA players who, by the way, just happened to play on the team that has the highest payroll in the league.
Yeah, I think that's one of them. All the expectations for this team, and you think about that over the years. You know, this team was looking to go, at least you hoped, deep in the playoffs, and then you hope to get to the Western Conference Final, and anything from there was pretty much, can they make their not with this talent? But when you give up 78 points in the first half and 70 in the second half, 78 points. 78 points. And one of the things that just drives me nuts is the carelessness again with the basketball. 15 turnovers, you make a little bit of a run, you get within 12, and you get 2 back-to-back bad passes for easy turnovers, for easy scores by this Houston Rockets team. It's kind of like, okay, we're just going to show up and play through it. I hate to say that, guys, that they're just kind of playing through it. But not to it in order to get to the play-in.
So Bucks, Celtics, Knicks on the road, and then at home it's the Warriors and a few other teams, the Thunder, and then the season will be over, and it can't get over soon enough. This is just a horrific season for the Phoenix Suns, having the largest payroll in the NBA, in the NBA's history, and to be as bad as you are. And now when the national media pundits are saying you're an embarrassment to basketball, what is the ownership doing? What are they saying? Would you love to be in that black SUV after a game in the back seat? They're taking the executives back home, the players home, and you just hear the conversation. Or, when they get on the airplane and they head to the East Coast, and they're sitting there with 4 hours to just talk about what has happened. What do you think they're talking about? Are they talking about what they need to do now, or are they looking ahead for October of 2025?
I can tell you right now that they are looking ahead because they know that this season is toast. If indeed, if the sun comes out tomorrow and they win a couple games and they sneak in to the play-in tournament, they're going to get bounced right away. It doesn't matter. So if you're Matt Ishbia, along with James Jones, and I don't know, guys, if his job is safe, I would question that as well. But if you're Matt Ishbia, look, we get that you were a brand new owner, that you're really, really, really rich, and you can toss your money around, which you did, and the fans appreciated it. We appreciated it, and you were hoping that you did the right thing, and it failed miserably. Look, you don't get to become a billionaire by making mistakes. So you flush those mistakes as quickly as possible and try to rebuild. That's exactly what I think this is going to happen to this team.
You talk about Budenholzer. Think about this. Monty took that team to the finals, right?
Right.
Got bounced. Frank Vogel, who won a title with the Lakers, got bounced. Now you have Mike Budenholzer that won a title, may get bounced. You know what?
Coach in 3 years.
Yeah. And these guys are all damn, I would say NBA title-winning coaches, all except for one. And one got him there, and then the other one got you to 64 wins one season. But I sit there and go, okay, there's something here as far as the player mix. So maybe James Jones, at that point, I've got to take a good hard look at James Jones and say, look, James, we've had 3 coaches. We've had all this talent. It's not all on the coaches. It's got the mix, the blend, whether it's too many cooks in the kitchen.
It's chemistry. The players, Manuch, it is.
I would say so because you hear all of the comments coming out, the no leadership, and we got to pick it up. But they continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over again. So the message from whoever's coaching, you got 2 title-winning coaches.
Yeah.
That message isn't getting across for who's ever on the court.
It's not working. It's obvious that it's not working. I feel bad for Matt Ishbia, who came in like walking on the red carpet, and everybody was so happy to see him take over. A guy who is a basketball guy who made his money and is now trying to use it correctly and have it blow up in his face. It just blew up in his face.
Yeah, I think we're done seeing Kevin Durant. I think we're ever going to see him again. I think the experiment is over. I think Matt Ishbia, to your point, Jimmy, is going to say, wow, we gave up 5 first-round picks, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. The Knicks clearly won this, if you really kind of put that in perspective, because that experiment with Durant is clearly did not work out. And now I think you just take your hit. He is in his 3rd season of a 4-year, $198 million deal that he had signed with the Brooklyn Nets back in 2021. And now they have to make a major decision. We all think he's going to be gone anyway. I don't think we're ever going to see him in a Suns uniform again.
Yeah,
and it's sad because he's arguably one of the top 5 players in the league.
He still is. He can
guy's
score
been
on
playing
anybody.
at such a high level.
And
that ankle looked bad. I think that's more than a week.
Yeah. He was the best player for the Suns this year.
Oh, really?
By none.
Really? Would you figure that out?
But I'm just saying, here's your best guy, so you got to get rid of your...
The stuff you hear on this show.
No. I'm just saying that if you think about the best guy and you go, okay, you're going to get rid of your best guy, but you vowed to keep Devin Booker. Why isn't everybody available? Why, if you want to really rebuild this team, why don't you, if he's the face, he didn't really play like the face at times, very disappointing at times.
His numbers aren't that bad.
No, they're not bad.
But you got to remember, you're playing on a team that loses.
Exactly. So, right now, I think everybody's fair game. Even Bradley Beal can waive his no trade.
The head coach
is not going to waive his no trade.
Yeah, well,
he won't do it.
Everybody is game. That's what I'm trying to say. I think coaches to the players to front office, you name it. And I think Matt Ishbia came in here, kid in a candy store. All that money goes in to go, wow, Bradley Beal's available.
Yeah.
We get KD. We can do this. Oh, we could build this franchise. I'm here to win, man. And I don't blame him.
What's worse, the experiment in Philly the last couple of years or this one?
Well,
because
Philly one's been going on for a long time.
Philly had a good solid 4 or 5 years with Embiid and Tyrese and those players, and they were in the hunt in the playoffs. They had one shot that bounced off the rim 3 different times and fell in. Otherwise, they would have been playing in the final. One shot.
And Toronto was, fate smiled on them as far as winning that title that year.
It did.
And I think of, the most disappointing I'd probably say would be the Suns team with the talent they have. Your point.
Payroll.
Yeah, payroll. And Philadelphia was always in it.
Yes,
they were always in the playoffs. They weren't fighting to play in.
Yeah.
And if they did, they were going, a couple, 2-3 rounds into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So I think this is worse.
All right, headlines are brought to you by the Weekapaw Casino and Resort. Join us this Saturday from the WKP Sportsbook for the semifinals, the Final Four. You got Game 1, Florida and Auburn. That tips off just after 3, while Game 2 with Duke and Houston will tip off closer to 6. We'll be hosting a viewing party there with free $100 props and squares for both games. Plus, you'll be able to roll the dice, at least 25 people each game. At halftime, we'll roll the jumbo dice for your chance at $50,000. Plus, we get some other great prizes from Weekapaw Casino and Dos Equis. All the details are up on our website, rockandmanuch.com. We hope you will join us. So we got some sound, the D-backs, the Suns, sadly, and some NHL and some AI with Duke as something that we started on Friday that we are going to continue today. We'll continue on. It's ESPN 620.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
At Grand Canyon University, we believe in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts with purpose. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's learning environments are designed for supportive networking and collaboration. With over 330 academic programs, GCU provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-902-5454. 800-902-5454.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
Now, it's time for Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you their top plays and sounds of the weekend on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2.
Williams, defense Williams. Wow, that's another time. Williams intercepted. The Gators are going to the Final Four.
They'll run it out. And another number 1 seed advances. The Duke Blue Devils come out of the East. And John Shire's headed to his first Final Four as a head coach. 7th heaven for Houston. The Cougars advance to their 7th Final Four and hoping this trip brings them their first title. 8-point game. What's another one? Pick him a charge. Izzo just told his team, don't foul. And that's it. The storybook season continues for Auburn. The Tigers are going to the Final Four. It will be all chalk on the Riverwalk.
That's right, San Antonio this Saturday. It all tips off all the number 1 seeds in the men's Final Four. First time since 2008, second time in NCAA history. And this is going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great game. Unfortunately, some people may say they're missing the madness because it's all chalk, no Cinderellas. But these games, they were somewhat blowouts. I know I did quite well in betting because the favorites,
Yeah.
the only game that I didn't cover was the Florida game. But aside from that, it was chalk. It was easy money. And now it's a little bit more difficult. These game spreads are, I think the first game's, 2.5, then the Duke game, 4.5. So it's going to get a little tighter. It's going to get a little tougher. But, Cinderella teams, I think they're dead. I think they're going to be dead. I think the NIL and the transfer portal is definitely going to change that. So it's just get used to change,
Sure.
and this could be it.
Rich get richer, poor get poor. There's really not the money there for them to go after the same athlete that Auburn or Florida or Duke are going after. And the most you can offer is maybe $500,000, if that. And then those guys are offering $1 million to $2 million. I mean, how do you compete with that? You don't. You just got to hope for good coaching and good, solid players. Maybe a team that grows. Maybe have juniors and seniors that can upset a youthful group of, Florida kids or Duke kids and just catch that magic moment, so to speak.
I saw everybody was complaining online, like this is just awful that we are going to have all the number 1s. And then there was a person writing about, well, look how old the guys are on Auburn. The youngest guy's 22. The oldest guy's 25.
On Auburn?
On Auburn, yeah.
They're complaining that they're actually staying in school and they can follow their team
because they're
for
not,
3 or 4 years.
That's right, Manuch,
Time
they're
out,
complaining.
Manuch. Staying in school?
Yeah, because they make
or they're
money.
staying because they have a job.
They're on
It's
campus.
not school.
No.
However you want to phrase
They're
it.
not getting an education.
No, the student athlete is history. Don't even bring that.
Well, wait a
term
second. They've
anymore.
got to meet
It's
requirements
gone.
to go from junior to senior.
Really?
They got to meet.
This is coming
they gotta
from
meet
a guy who's a
requirements.
starting quarterback at Kansas State. You don't tell me they looked the other way. If you were struggling,
No.
if they even back there in the 70s, you don't think if you were struggling in a class, you had a tutor right there, or maybe somebody taking the test for you.
Hey, I had to
writing
take
the paper for you.
I had to take anatomy physiology over the following year because I got
Following year.
yeah. Well, that summer I took it, so I didn't take it again.
Not during season.
Well, you got to remember now at K-State we went on probation, so they're watching us double secret probation even
Manuch,
closer.
you were taking mud pie making 1.
No, that's not true.
Underwater marble stacking 2.
Yeah, exercise physiology, anatomy, and physiology with real cadavers, not live cadavers, real cadavers.
Arizona State basketball is playing tonight against Nebraska at 5:30 on FS1. The winner of this game will take on the winner of Georgetown and Washington State in the quarterfinals on April 2nd. It's going on in Las Vegas at the at the MGM Arena and T-Mobile Arena. ASU is one of 5 Big 12 teams that are in this field. And interesting enough, ASU lost 5 players in the portal. They picked up 2, but they have maybe 7 scholarship guys that could go.
If that.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not bet Nebraska in this game?
I agree with you.
I have to take a look and see how many Nebraska's lost.
Didn't have intramural tryouts the last 2 weeks prior to this game. And I think it's either 6 or 7. I'd say either 6 or 7 scholarship players that pretty much have it. So I think that those are some of the things I look at is, okay, ASU's getting some reps, but those 7, 8, 9 guys, the guys in the practice squad players or the what do you call them, the special teams players the last I don't know, 6 months. They're going to get a chance to play. So Bobby's going to coach them up, and they have at it, run the plays, and see what happens from that standpoint.
Jackson, do me a favor and find out why they pulled the Nebraska ASU game off of DraftKings. I bet it last week, but I can't bet it today on DraftKings, and I have no reason why unless they know it's going to be an absolute blowout. But I would think that they would still put a line.
Maybe mine is their limit. Their what do you call it? Their high bar minus 25.
There's too many question
marks on players. Could be.
But this is just DraftKings. That's what I play. If someone else, can get it, let me know. I'd be curious to see it. All right, let's get to some of the sounds. Let's shift gears and talk some baseball as the Diamondbacks split the series, the home opener series 2-2. Had a great comeback last night or yesterday afternoon. We'll start with a game-tying 2-run homer with this blast.
Well, suddenly they were down 6-2. There's still only one out in the inning now, 6-4. They have the tying run at the plate. It's Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
Yes, sir. Yes, indeed. We got a ball game. Lourdes Gurriel jumping on the very first fastball he sees right here. Oh, my belt high in the middle of the plate. That's what you're supposed to do with those.
So that tied the score 6-6, but this was a difference. In same inning, it was a huge inning. I think 7 straight hits as the Diamondbacks go on to win 10-6. But here's Josh Nair, the newest addition to this club, with the go-ahead RBI double.
4 runs already home. The center, so Armstrong can go down. Not this time. Go, Jimmy, go. They're going to wave him home. He's going to score. And the Diamondbacks have the lead.
There you have it. So they made 7-6 again, and they go on to win. That's courtesy of the Arizona Diamondbacks television network, MLB. All right, some Suns real quick. We've heard KD. We saw he limped. He rolled his ankle. But let's go to an update, the latest update from Shams on how long he may be out. We don't have it? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So we don't have that. But he's going to be out for at least a week through at least this 3-game road trip, again, with that left ankle sprain. Let's move on to NHL. We're going to go to NHL. Alex Ovechkin, he gets his 890th career goal. He did this in the third period against Buffalo. Here is 890.
Van Riemsdyk to the front looking for an Ovechkin deflection that went high. Now it's still there.
Guy for 42, was he 41, 42?
He's playing
phenomenal.
Tremendous.
Yeah, watch that guy going down the ice.
Yep, he was always a great scorer. He's a big guy. People forget that he really is a big, rough and tumble guy, and he still plays that way. That was a deflection. He was battling 2 other opponents right by the crease in front of the cage when that puck came in, and then he deflected it into the net.
All right, we had some fun on Friday. There's some AI going on during the March Madness has been just outstanding. Basically, what they do is they take a post-game interview, like a head coach, and then they kind of manipulate it, and it's hilarious. Now, we have to beep out a lot of it, but it is good. It's good sound. So we're going to start with Texas Tech. We go with that one first, and then we'll go with John Shire from Duke. But let's here's the Texas Tech sound from the AI.
We lost!
That one wasn't as good as this next one, but that is the Texas Tech players. If you saw the video, there's 4 or 5 guys being interviewed, and they were all crying. So that's all on Jax. I can't believe he pulled that. That's just not right. I feel, he's a former college athlete. I can't imagine him doing that. All right, here's Duke's head coach, and this is a little bit better.
Alabama might have made it past BYU by jacking up 50 3-pointers, like some crappy little street ball team. But the fact is they are cut from the same cloth as my Duke Blue Devils. I mean, does anyone ever really talk about the University of Alabama other than during football season? Mediocre academics and basketball is just an afterthought. They're basically a football team with a little party school attached to it. So it was no surprise that my Dukies lit them up tonight. We played white boy basketball, dominated them on the boards, excellent team defense, held them to 25% from three. We passed the ball and took high percentage shots. Duke has the basketball IQ, and that's why we're headed to the Final Four. And the sorry-ass Tide are headed back to Tuscaloosa empty-handed. I'll see you guys in San Antonio.
Shots fired. Outstanding.
That is funny, though.
That is
funny
classic stuff, right?
It really. We'll get to our G2G protein bar game changers from the weekend. We got some really good ones that we'll have some time a little bit later. However, we will get you caught up with some of the local stories as we are going to catch up with a first time he's been on our show, I believe, Rod Baxley, the Duke beat writer for the Fayetteville Observer. He is going to join us, and we will discuss these two number one seeds that both play amazing defense, that being Duke and Houston. Which one will get the offense going? He will preview that for us next. But first, here's Jax with the latest Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update.
ESPN 620 update. I'm Jackson Croft. Arizona State tips off at 5:30 p.m. against Nebraska in the first ever college basketball crown tournament in Viva Las Vegas with a grand prize of $300,000 going to the winner. Sun star Kevin Durant will miss at least a week after injuring his ankle yesterday. He's out for the Phoenix's road trip coming up at Milwaukee, Boston, and New York Knicks. And then lastly, Diamondbacks third baseman Gino Suarez wins NL Player of the Week after crushing 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, tying Aaron Judge to the MLB in leads in home runs. Watch the Final Four at any of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations with ice cold Bud Light and neutral specials. But join us for your chance to win $25,000 next Monday as we host a championship game from the Twin Peaks Tempe. That's Twin Peaks Tempe. We'll see you there. The championship game, Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
It's the championship game. Who will seize that one shining moment? Make plans to join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B for the Ultimate Hoops Finals Party at Tempe Twin Peaks, Monday, April 7th. The guys broadcast 1 to 4, then the event begins at 5 p.m., courtesy of Bud Light and Neutral. At halftime, you'll have a chance to roll the jumbo dice for $25,000. Don't miss the excitement at Tempe Twin Peaks, or catch it at one of the other 4 locations. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Join us at Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to test drive the new Callaway Elite product line. Experience the future of performance with new shaping, materials, and AI 10X Smart Face, delivering up to 8 yards longer with even more forgiveness. Book your fitting in-store or online. Vans Golf Shops, proudly serving golfers since 1963 with our legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Craving tacos? There's one spot in town that everyone can't stop talking about. The Taco Spot. With mouth-watering, authentic Mexican flavors and a modern twist. It's no wonder they're the local favorite.
The Taco Spot has the best tacos I've ever had.
With locations opening all over Arizona, satisfying your cravings has never been easier. Come and experience the tacos to talk about. Enjoy handmade tortillas and fresh made-to-order meals that will leave your taste buds dancing. Taco Spot, where every bite is a fiesta.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and a resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
How serious is youth vaping? Irreversible lung damage serious. 1 in 10 kids vape serious, which warrants a serious conversation from a serious parental figure like yourself. Not the seriously know-it-all sports dad or the seriously smart podcaster. It requires a serious conversation that is best had by you. No, seriously, the best person to talk to your child about vaping is you. To start the conversation, visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
I'm the threat that's already inside the house. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me. You can't even see me. I'm the threat of family fire. And as long as your guns aren't stored securely, I'll be there. Protect your family. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Cooper Flag with Sears on him. 2 first-team All-Americans going at it. Flag with 3 to shoot. Flag up and over Sears. Too tall. At 6'9". As you called it.
All right, with Duke reaching the Final Four this weekend, the ACC has the most Final Four appearances in the past 5 men's NCAA tournaments, the most of the past 10, 15, 20, and 25. The AC leads the way. ACC, that is, as we hear so much about the SEC this year, but it's clearly the ACC. And joining us now from the Fayetteville Observer, he is on the Duke beat. Rod Baxley joins us. You can follow him on Twitter, X at Rod Baxley. Joins us now on ESPN 620 Phoenix. Rod, it's the crew here, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Appreciate you joining us, and I believe you're on. Have you already landed in San Antonio?
No, guys. I did come home for at least 2 days, so I can try to get back to neutral before flying back out Wednesday morning. So.
With this game being at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, with Houston, 3 hours or so away,
yeah.
It'll be an interesting atmosphere, don't you think? I mean, I know the Dookie fan base travels well, better than almost anybody in the country, but do you expect it a 60-40, a 70-30 Houston?
Yeah, I would still lean 60-40 if I had to bet on it. I mean, Duke just travels so well. I mean, a national brand. Obviously, I don't think it'll be like it was in Newark, where it was almost like Cameron. But, yeah, I think, Houston being so close, it'll be a lot more away fans than Duke has had to deal with so far in March Madness.
What are the expectations with this fan base? Of course, Duke seems to be always there, or North Carolina. You cover them too. Yeah. But when it comes to Duke and the fan base this year, knowing you only get flagged for this year, it's win or go home, right? I mean, they have a little bit of pressure on them.
Yeah, it's national title or bust for this group. You said it there. Cooper Flag, projected number 1 pick in the NBA draft. John Shire in the offseason put all the pieces around him. So they could chase this title, which would end a decade-long drought. So, yeah, it's national title or bust for the Blue Devils.
So, Ron, as Rock alluded to Cooper Flag, when you watch this young man, I mean, the maturity, physically, mentally, all the things that he does, is there anything that has not surprised you by this young man, how well he plays on the court, and maybe the way he is off the court as well, too?
Yeah, I mean, on the court these last few weeks, he's gotten a lot more demonstrative, talking a lot more trash. He wasn't doing that earlier in the year. I don't know if he was just feeling his way or if the games got bigger, he just wanted to show more of that personality. But off the court, he's as humble as they come. I mean, he's always praising his teammates, not a big fan of the spotlight. So he's been a joy to cover. And I think his best trait is just how hard he plays. I mean, he's baseline to baseline, sideline to sideline for 40 minutes or however minutes he's out there. And when you're as talented as he is, when you combine that with how hard he plays, it's tough to stop.
Do you give credit to the scouting, the scouts, so to speak, in reference to the other 2 young guys you have to be so poised and polished? Or do you give credit to the donors to make sure you got those guys at Duke, to make sure they show up on campus?
Yeah, I mean, we can't act like the money doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it matters. But Duke also matters. I mean, these kids want to be at places where they're going to be seen. And Duke is shown on ESPN more than anybody in the nation. They're showing these big-time games. So you have to factor that in. And, it doesn't hurt to look at Duke's NIL numbers and the way they take care of these young men.
Rod, take me to John Shire. It's a great story. A guy who played and won a championship as a player. He is taking over for an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Is now that particular legend taking a back seat, Or I know he still goes to the games and he's a prominent figure, obviously, but how's that work now?
Yeah, he has been to a lot more games this year, but his biggest thing was he did not want to overshadow John in that first season in particularly, and then even more in the second season. He wanted it to be John's show, and it's hard to do at Cameron because it's not like they have suites. You know, you're out in the open if you're sitting at Cameron. So if Coach K's there, everyone's going to know about it. So I got to give Coach K credit for that. He caught a lot of flack for the way he went out with kind of the farewell tour, but that succession plan has set up Duke for continued success. I mean, it's been incredible when you look at some of these other programs who had to replace legends, and Duke really hasn't had a drop-off. Now, John is not, 5 national championships and the winningest coach in men's college basketball, but he had 27 wins in the first 2 seasons, an Elite 8 appearance last year. He's got 2 ACC tournament titles, and now he's in the Final Four. So I'd say the Blue Devils are in good hands with Shire.
Rod, is he a little more user-friendly head coach than Coach K was a few years ago?
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, John's 37, so, we don't really call him coach. He still looks like he can play a little bit, and he's always shooting around with the guys, and he's not one to jump down your throat if you mess up a question, whereas Coach K wasn't going to let you off the hook if you messed up. So, yeah, in that regard, it's night and day. But Coach K said it when John was hired. Look, he's going to chart his own course. Obviously, you learn stuff under a legend like Coach K, but you have to create your own path. You can't be the guy Coach K was. You got to be your own guy.
You hear about Shire that he's an X and O's guy. The team is motivated by him and how he treats his players. On the other side, you got Coach Sampson, who's never won a championship, but he's been to the Final Four twice. How much do you feel that experience plays in all this, especially for Shire in his first time?
Yeah, I think it matters a little bit, but I mean, at the end of the day, guys, you know how it is. I mean, it's the players between the lines.
Yeah.
Those are the guys who are going to decide it. Now, you look at how Houston beat Purdue. Those moments do matter when they beat them with that inbounds pass, knowing Purdue's tendencies. But Duke put on a similar display against Alabama when they started switching everything defensively and just hounding Alabama's smaller guards to hold them to their second lowest scoring output of the season. So I think the coaching on both sides is great from the start of the bench at Sampson and Shire down the bench with the assistant coaches. So it should be quite a heavyweight matchup in San Antonio.
Rod, you watch this team all year long, and I know you watched Houston a little bit here and there. Is there a like-kind team that Duke may have played that very similar to what they're going to face against Houston?
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked me that earlier. I don't, because of how physical Houston is, I mean, you can't simulate the kind of physicality you're going to see from them. I mean, I made the joke yesterday. I think both teams should bring their shoulder pads and helmets to San Antonio because it's going to be a battle, man. I would say Auburn is the closest. When they came to Cameron in early December, that was a very physical game, and Duke was prepared for it. They prepared in the preseason with a lot of competitiveness as far as practices go, less individual skill stuff, more team-focused, toughness-driven drills, and it has certainly paid off for Duke after having in the last season as far as their losses were concerned.
Let me follow up then on the physicality factor. The officials, at least in the games that I watched over the weekend, are letting them play. They are letting these guys play a little bit. So if you are Duke and you have that big front line and then Knipple outside, are you going to try to take the ball to the basket, try to get some of those Houston players in foul trouble quickly in the game?
Yeah, I think it's key for both sides. I mean, you look at Kaman Malawach, Duke's 7'2" center, and then you look at Houston's fifth-year center, Jawan Roberts. Both of those guys have a tendency to pick up some fouls. And they've done it in this tournament. So we know how some officials can insert themselves into games. I'm more in favor of letting the players be on the court and play through some of this stuff because we want to see the stars. But yes, absolutely. I think both teams will be in attack mode because there has been a tendency for the big men to pick up fouls, which could be a key factor.
Should we get the SEC football officials for this game? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, send the A crew down there, man.
Hey, as we let you go, just a quick question for Carolina and Bill Belichick. Manuch mentioned he spoke with you yesterday, and how do you think this is going to fly? Will he be there more than a year?
Oh, man, I do not know. I know in December I was like, look, we're going to have plenty of content, good or bad. But the more I'm hearing and seeing, the more I feel like it's going to be a circus instead of a success. I mean, you want to give Bill Belichick credit. He's a winner. And obviously you're not going to turn down a guy like that if he wants to coach your football program. But they are not paying him all this money to go 8-5. They want to be in that college football playoff. And right now I look at the roster and I do not see it. So hopefully they can make some moves in the spring portal, and we'll see. But they're not going to be able to hide because that's going to be on the bottom line of the ticker every Saturday as far as Bill Belichick and UNC are concerned.
Rod, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time today.
Yeah, you got it, man. Enjoy talking with you.
Yep, that's Rod Baxley. Join him that on Twitter and X. It's called @Rod Baxley. He's the Fayetteville Observer beat writer for Duke, NC State, and North Carolina. So he's got it covered. He's got the triangle covered. So check that out. I'm sure he's got a little Clemson in there too. He is brought to you today by All City Towing. They are hiring. They got dispatcher jobs, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, all types of jobs, and great benefits to boot. So if you want to get some information and take your career to the next level, then visit them online at allcitytowing.com. Just search careers. All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Coming up, Stanford hires a new football coach, and this is a really, really big day for Arizona Wildcat basketball. We'll tell you what that's all about next. This is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2. Plus, all of our shows are on the Arizona Sports app.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2GBar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Rock for WhiteToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Attention golf lovers and putting enthusiasts. Are you ready to elevate your game? At Putting World, we've got cutting-edge technology that'll have you sinking putts like a pro. With high-tech simulators and expert coaches, you'll be on your way to mastering that tricky 6-footer in no time. Check us out at puttingworld.com. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a newbie who thinks a hole-in-one is just a fancy donut, there's a place for you at Putting World. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
Turner and Rose is the way to go.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Getting rear-ended once is bad enough. Don't let the insurance company hit you again with a lowball offer. Call an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. Call Lerner and Rowe today. 977-1900.
Turner and Rose is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
There's going to be a lot more games that tickets get to that price. So if you want to be a part of them, you better buy season tickets. You better do it right now. You better sell it out because we're going to have a lot more games where this state wants to show up to. Buy your season tickets. Let's make that every single week of next year. Because why would you not want to be in that environment? It's one of the most fun places to be in college football. Why would you not want to do that every Saturday?
Get your Sun Devil football tickets today by calling 480-727-0000 or go online to sundeviltickets.com.
Did you bust your bracket? Lose a few bucks? No worries. Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy D are here to help you win cash. during their College Hoops Playoffs final weekend viewing party at the WKP Sportsbook in Wecopa Casino Resort. Join them for free cash props and squares contests for both Saturday games. Plus, you could roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000 during both halftimes. Cash money! Enjoy Dos Equis specials and win cash just for watching with them.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Who else but Simon? They're not going to foul him. It's only one for both of his hands. Victory for Arizona. Simon says championship. 1997, Cat fans, you know it. You beat Kentucky 84-79 in overtime. The Cats' first title and their first title game. And you look at that roster with Miles Simon and Mike Bibby and Michael Dickerson and Jason Terry. I mean, the list goes on. You had Josh Pastner, who just took the UNLV job last weekend. What a incredible team that was, with so many stars that went on to have successful careers at the next level.
I think of Bibby just as a freshman to go in there. And when you talk about young men beyond their years to come out of Shadow Mountain High School here in the Valley, got away from ASU, goes down to U of A. His first year, they win it all. By the way, didn't he just get named the Sacramento State head coach?
Yeah, the Hornets.
Good for him.
Yeah,
so
Bibby, yep.
talk about coaches from that staff.
Yeah, I see him out a lot. You know, you see him at a couple restaurants in town in Scottsdale. He lives here, so good luck to him. Other sports on this day in 2012, Ray Whitney, if you remember him, passes for 1,000 career points with a goal and assist as the Phoenix Coyotes beat Anaheim 4-0. That was in 2012. And then 93 years ago, 1938, Ford unveiled its new V8 engine.
I had one.
I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did.
Very few V8 engines on the road nowadays.
Stanford has hired former NFL coach and veteran Frank Reich to be the school's interim for the 2025 season. Of course, they don't have an AD yet. It looks as though they will probably get one. But Andrew Luck has been the Stanford football general manager, and he coached Luck, or Reich coached Luck during his final season in 2018. They have a very strong relationship. I have a feeling that if this works out for Frank Reich, he could be there longer than a year.
Yeah, I think it could. I think that at this point, Frank doesn't have a gig in the NFL right now. So Andrew probably said, hey, look, you want to come in here and settle the waters, if you will, with Taylor getting fired because of the allegations of the sexual harassment and bullying and all that stuff. And because it's too late to go find a head coach right now that's worth his salt to come in here and spring football. So I think what they've done is they've got enough for spring football. Frank can kind of come in and calm the waters and get these guys ready to go, make sure they're going to class, make sure that they're showing up and that they're presentable on game day. And you're right, Rock. He might, if Andrew likes what he sees and you got to get the recruits and go get those guys in reference to the NIL deals, what they have, then it might turn the corner for him one way or the other.
Manuch, that's my point, though. How are you going to sell Frank Reich, other than former player and NFL head coach, to 1 year where kids are looking? I mean, that's a tough sell to me.
Yeah, I think what sells is the NIL deal. The NIL number one.
I get that.
Number two is if this guy comes, puts a system in, there's a player right now. They're recruiting the 2026 and 2027 players right now. So if your academics meet all the standards and they come after you and they say, hey, we're tapping, you want to commit, offer you as a quarterback, running back, receiver, he may not be the coach in 2027. He might go this year and next year, but who's going to be the coach in 2027? So there's a lot of things they got to think about.
All right, let's get to our G2G protein bar game changers from the weekend. I'm going to start with this.
And Ryan Nelson is going to be the hitter. They are out of position players. Ryan Nelson is the hitter. 2-1 on Nelly. Get through. Yes. Ryan Nelson's got a ribby knock. He's driven in one. They get the second run at home.
That dugout is just going to be a happy flight if they can close this out all the way to New York City, baby.
And they did. They win 10-6. They come back a big inning there. But Ryan Nelson, he records his first pinch hit RBI single, his first career bat, in Major League Baseball. The last time a full-time recorded a hit in a Major League game was Zach Greinke in Game 4 of the 2021 World Series before the universal designated hitter was implemented. So really cool for that. I don't know how anybody could do better than that, Manuch. Even you, Jimmy, Jax, Connor, there's not a better G2G game changer than a pitcher getting a hit.
Negative on that, because my G2G game changer and changers, we're going to go to New York City for the Yankees.
Aaron Judge, one man out. Goldschmidt stays put. Driven deep to left field. He's done it again. See ya. A monster 2-run home run. Can't keep him in the park. 2-1 Yanks. High fly ball. Left field. Curio back. Track. Wall. See ya. A grand slam for Aaron Judge. And the Yankees are pouring it on. High fly ball, center field. Mitchell back on the track. At the wall, see ya. 3 home runs for Aaron Judge. They've done it again. A record 8 home runs in one game by the Yankees. And it's just the 4th inning.
That's right. My G2G protein game changer is Aaron Judge. And that game in the 20-9 win on Saturday over the Brewers. Judge was 4 for 6, 3 home runs, 8 RBI, and 4 runs scored. And as you know, the team tied a new record since the 2006 Tigers for 15 home runs in the first 3 games of the season. Aaron Judge is my G2G protein bar game changer of the weekend.
Can we just stop it with the torpedo bat stuff? The pitchers afterwards, oh, golly, they got those new bats. It's like a softball. Stop it. What do we say on this show all the time? What's the hardest thing to do in professional sports?
And only 2 guys use the bat.
There you go.
Only 2 guys.
Only 2.
Volpe and Grisham, the only 2 that use
Hit a baseball. That's what it is. Jeez, just shut the hell up. All right, my G2G protein bar game changer, similar to what Rock had with Ryan Nelson getting his first hit. How about on the PGA Tour in Houston, Min-Woo Lee wins his first PGA title.
Soaking in the moment. And all this realized Min-Woo Lee is a PGA Tour champion.
To me, that was great. Look, he held off Scotty Scheffler and Gary Woodland, who shot a 62 in the final round. He beat Scotty Scheffler and Woodland by 1 shot. Min-Woo Lee, PGA, first ever victory, 26 years old. He is my G2G bar game changer. Jax.
Thank you for tossing it to me, Jimmy B. I really do appreciate
I think of you, pal, every once in a while.
So my G2G game changer goes to a man you guys talked about last segment, John Shire. Here's his real, actual comments, not AI generated, after the victory against Alabama.
Their offense to hold them to 65 points. That's incredible. You know, obviously for us, just for this group to come together this offseason, how connected they are, how tough they are, couldn't be more proud.
Since we're live to the house, what would you like to say to the Duke fans?
Oh, we're live, huh? Who's ready to go to San Antonio?
John Shire, the 3rd person in NCAA history to coach and play in the Final Four for his alma mater. And if he wins it with Duke, he'll be the 2nd person since 1950 to win a national championship at his alma mater as a head coach. I mean, what this guy has done, they win against Houston. He will have the most wins in his first 3 years at a college, 2 ACC championships, 2 Elite Eights, 1 Final Four, all the pressure of being the replacement of Coach K. I love how he coaches his team. And on top of that, to hold Alabama to 65 points. Jimmy B, you know, too. You saw the defense from Duke. And that's been the biggest game changer to me, is seeing their defense against some of these quality opponents. And they got trashed because the ACC schedule is so weak. Their defense might be better than their offense. And they got Cooper Flagg, the big man down low, and Kahn. But give me my G2G game changer to John Shire and that performance against Alabama and what he's doing at Duke. Connor?
Yeah, for me, I'm going to be rolling right back to the diamond. I'm going to Gino Suarez, as he had one of these dingers the other night for a 2-run home run.
1-2. Swing and a high fly ball to left center field. Pro Armstrong going back at the track. At the one! Suarez, he's on fire to begin the season. It's his 4th home run of the year, and the Diamondbacks are back to within one.
Suarez winning the first NL Player of the Week with already 4 home runs, 7 RBIs, and he got an OPS rate of 1.55 right now for the D-backs.
How come pitchers aren't complaining about Suarez? He's got 4 home runs.
Why?
Because they're complaining about Judge and the Yankees hitting all those
I haven't heard
homers.
pictures of complaining, Jimmy.
Yeah, look at it.
Give me one picture.
I don't know any
It's
picture
the
that said anything
it's
about
the guy
that.
who was pitching for Milwaukee in his comments after the game. Well, that's where I got the quote that they are using a softball bat.
But
that was his quote.
But Judge isn't.
Judges
No,
using bat.
Not using a torpedo bat.
Only 2 guys
I
are
didn't
using
say Judge.
No,
I'm
there's
saying
5 guys using
yeah. I'm
But
saying
Kid
that
played
he was
yesterday, yeah.
complaining about the bat because they hit him up so bad for home runs.
Well, don't give him something to hit.
Pitched better.
That's easy.
C2G protein bars, they are game changers. They're now available at Costco. Just check them out in the refrigerated section. You'll see what I mean. They are outstanding. Great to take on the golf course or when you're on the go. All right, our number 2 is coming up. And some very, very strong words from Stephen A. Smith as he declares the Suns an atrocity and says they are bad for basketball. Plus, speaking of the torpedoes, the MLB is scrambling to catch up with the Bombers in New York. Hour number 2 is coming up. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2. Plus, all of our shows are on the Arizona Sports app. Hour number 2 is next.
Progressive knows when you own a boat or RV, it's like you're automatically on vacation, even if you're actually a marriage counselor in the middle of couples therapy. But in your mind, you're camping in Acadia, puttering around Frenchman Bay. Your boat and RV are both protected. You're lobster drenched in butter and... Uh-oh. Did your clients just notice you weren't listening? Quick, do the thing where you just repeat back exactly what they said, but as a question. They bought it. Now back to Maine, earning an automatic discount bundling your boat or RV with your home or auto. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers. Not available in all states or situations.
Confidence is knowing you're ready to handle whatever comes your way. That's what it feels like to take on your workday with Cintas. They make sure your AEDs are up to date, your fire extinguishers are tested and inspected, your floor mats are cleaned and delivered, and your workwear looks good, feels good, and is freshly laundered with the Cintas Apparel Plus program. So are you ready to take on today? Visit Cintas.com and get ready for the workday.
Spring cleaning isn't just for clutter. Let Benjamin Franklin Plumbing take care of your appliances. From water heater replacement or repair to advanced water filtration installation, Benjamin Franklin Plumbing is here to provide a worry-free summer for you and your family. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com to schedule. You can count on the punctual plumbers, where your comfort and safety come first. Book now. Visit BenjaminFranklinPlumbing.com.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop. A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona. Proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
Come visit the all-new Wekopaw Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Weekapaw offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and a resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Weekapaw Casino Resort today. At Weekapaw, we have the best of it all.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Phoenix Suns are in trust. They are bad for basketball.
They are bad for basketball. Stephen A. Smith today on First Take just called this team an atrocity. And as you just heard, they are bad for basketball. It's unfortunate that the Kevin Durant experiment here in Phoenix has not worked out. With all this ridiculous talent, they just could not figure out a way to be a contender. And then today, this morning, a pretty passionate rant that involved Durant as well as Coach Bud and this lack of leadership with this team. We got a few cuts that we'll get into right now. First, if you just missed it from the rejoin, here is the initial atrocity, bad for basketball comment.
The Phoenix Suns are an atrocity. They are bad for basketball.
It's a new drop, I think.
I think so.
I think we're going to use that for a while. But he goes on, and here he is talking about KD and what a great year he is having, but still, it doesn't matter because there's no leaders.
Kevin Durant has been balling. He's been an individual stud. The problem is they do not have a leader.
Why don't you think Kevin Durant can't be the leader?
Not his personality.
Well, but he chirps pretty hard on the court at these guys. He gets after them pretty good.
I think he chirps too much to the officials. I don't know if he
Well,
chirps
but
to
he's
the players.
That's fair.
Yeah. Somebody was telling me they were at the game last game when who was the last one in town? Was it
Houston? They got blown out.
No, prior to the other night, Milwaukee. And they were like 6-7 rows up, and he said that he was all over his guys, and then he was all over Budenholzer during the game too.
That's the
yelling
issue.
at him.
That's the problem.
He's
right
like
there.
he said they would hear and they say, "What are we doing out here?" And he would say, and they went back to the bench, and that was the night that he was chirping at Budenholzer, and he just walked right by him.
I remember that
because they were like 8 rows, 9 rows up, and they're seeing all this going on. The other thing they thought was just inappropriate too is they could see Bradley Beal kind of hiding is what allegedly that he had his text. He was texting on the bench with his cell phone, which they were just totally disappointed with. But they said that the banner between KD and Budenholzer going back and forth, they were surprised they could hear it all, and he was all over Budenholzer the entire game.
That's the problem.
And he probably
right
gave
there.
up. He walked away and said, "I'm done."
I'm. That's our problem with the Suns, right there in a nutshell. Is that I don't think players respect Coach Bud. To be honest with you, I think it's lost in translation. That was a pretty good movie, by the way. And I also believe what you just spoke about with Durant. I think that he is yakking, but he's not selling anybody either. Nobody is buying in to what he's yakking about. And obviously, Budenholzer isn't, and I don't think the other players are as well.
Well, I think that KD wants to win. His comments are meant well. He wants to win, guys. It's just that he's not seeing what he wants to see out of his team, whether it's in the locker room or you hear his comments. I think they're well-being, but he can't do it by himself. Okay, and if you're harping at the coach to do something, and it's not getting done, how frustrating is that for him? But he still continued to play very, very well.
All right, let's continue with Stephen A. Smith's comments today on First Take. Here he is talking about Coach Bud and how he's never coached a team that has done this poorly.
They have a bunch of people playing individual ball, just not as good as Kevin Durant. They clearly don't vibe with Coach Budenholzer. I thought it was subpar with Frank Vogel. It was much better with him than it has been this year with Mike Budenholzer, a champion who beat the Phoenix Suns as head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks to win a championship. I have never seen in his years in Atlanta and in all of those years in Milwaukee, I have never seen a Mike Budenholzer team look this bad. And here's why.
So he goes on, and here is Stephen A. This is our last clip. Just essentially just goes off on how bad this team and that the team just doesn't want to play.
They don't look like they want to play. When I say the word atrocity, I'm not talking about bad basketball. Bad basketball happens. I'm talking about a team, a collection of parts that show up on the basketball court and 18, 19,000 people in attendance can see they're not interested in being there. They're not interested in playing. That's what we see. I watched this game last night. Now, I know Houston was busting their living ass, and that can demoralize you. The problem is I saw lethargy before the score piled up, down 78-49 at the half. 78-49. They don't look like they want to play. They look like they can't wait for the season to be over, and they have been looking like this for most of this season. It's really bad. The ownership has to change everything. And I mean everything. They got to go. You got to purge that squad. It is bad in Phoenix because they just look like they don't want to play.
He ain't lying. He's not lying.
So does that front office including the purging?
Yes.
It's got to be.
It
got to
has,
be front office.
I think that you're going to have to go in that direction.
Here's what when he was somehow lethargic, they looked. The carelessness I feel that we've seen on a constant all year long is you looked at that game last night and the game before that, the Boston game, the carelessness with the passes, the turnovers continue, the lack of wanting to rebound and offensive rebound, that's been the constant theme. And then when you come back and barely beat a Milwaukee team, their last win here at home, that they did everything they could without a couple of their players, they still won it. But I think what he's getting at is you can see it on the court. And I think that first half, the 78 points the first half, and then the second half, just kind of cruise control, it really bothered me. Then even though Katie got hurt, I get it. But it's just that the want to or the bad passing, no matter what the situation, is like attention to detail. And I think that's what Stephen A. is getting at. And that's what KD is getting at in a subliminal way. I mean, it was the Boston game when the Celtics were in that he was chirping at Budenholzer the whole game.
Yeah.
Until he came out. And then he just sat down and put his hoodie on and said, this is ridiculous. So he wants to win. But I think what Stephen A. is saying is, look, you got to blow it up. This thing is just not working no matter who you have on him.
When
Bradley Beal included.
I agree, but the problem is we all know his no trade clause, and he likes living here. So I don't know how that is going to work. I am with you 100%, Stephen A., when you say they have to retool. They have to. They have no
Did he
other
say
chance.
retool? I think he said blow it up.
Well, he said that. I said retool. So, look, you have to. You have no freaking choice. The team is going nowhere. You have an owner who spent millions and millions of dollars with the highest payroll ever in the NBA, and you got nothing to show for it. Not a damn thing.
Well, there's a very good chance we'll never see him again in a Suns uniform. We may have seen it his last game yesterday. And if that is the case, this tenure with the Suns and him will be remembered as probably one of the biggest disappointments in NBA history when you look at a trade. 5 first-round picks and a couple starters and backups, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. I don't know how else. This is not just a huge failure.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
the biggest disappointment. I mean, I have to look at all the trades, but that didn't work. But I'm sure there's been some really bad ones too.
With Bridges and Johnson leaving, you went, oh man, that hurts. Both those two young guys coming around.
Picks.
Yeah,
that's the key. The bigger one.
That's it.
Yeah,
I mean, we know Mikal is doing great there.
In New York,
he's having a good time. He hit a buzzer beater yesterday.
But guys, first round picks they're crapshoots. Okay, you're on the top 10. But if you're in the top 10, you got a pretty good chance. After that, they're crapshoots. I hated to lose You look, now hindsight's 2020. We all get it.
Yeah.
We're all excited about KD coming, but you had to go when they gave up the Twins, so to speak. Went, oh man, these kids are really playing well. Mikel's the sixth man. I mean, that's sixth man. One of the top defensive players. His scoring's come around. Cam Johnson, he's really coming around. And they move off and get KD. Okay, let's go. Here we go. And then he gets hurt. Then he can't make his first game with the ankle roll.
You know, when we go back to media week, when the Super Bowl was here, when that announcement came down that they traded for Durant, it was big news.
Sure.
News.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it really made a splash in this city. Like the place just went nuts and everybody wanted to go get a Durant jersey because he's been jumping around teams so many times,
right?
And he's had a lot of success. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's been in playoffs probably almost
rings.
every year. Yeah. But I don't feel that there's going to be too many people that are going to be sitting up there saying, "Hey, you can't get rid of him. You need, this is the Suns. He's one of the top players."
Sure.
Which is sad. There's not a lot of top 5 players in the NBA where a fan base is saying, "All right, well, it didn't work out. Let's try something else."
This fan base wants to win.
They do.
That's
of course
the key.
they do.
And they want to win. But if
So
you've
is
got
the ownership, I'm sure.
yeah, and I think everybody does. But at what cost? I mean, you can't put this product back out there next year. You can't. You got to go ahead.
Can you keep KD
Sure.
and build around him?
You could keep KD.
You will get more.
Yeah.
You would get more for Devin Booker than you will for KD.
Yeah.
Just because Booker is only 28.
Okay, but even if you do go down that road,
Okay.
you got KD where he's at the tail end of his career.
Yes.
He's still competing as a top 5 player. But when do you get to the point where you're like, all right, I can't do that. Can't do that with KD because he's too old.
Well, that's the proverbial rock and a hard place where the Suns are. When you say that, Rock,
Or you
that's
keep what is Booker? What's this year 10, 11?
yeah,
I mean,
it's 10th year, I believe.
I mean,
yeah,
jeez.
it's that's tough. That's why these guys have got to go out there and figure out what.
This could be a hell of an offseason. I mean, obviously, there has to be a new GM. I can't imagine.
Oh, I'd agree.
There's just 3
and
years in a row.
And I don't fault Matt Ishbia's enthusiasm and what he wants to do. I really can't. I think that you live and you learn. I think this is a great example of that this year.
Great learning curve for the new owner.
Yeah, join us this Saturday at the WKP Sportsbook in Weekapaw Casino and Resorts for the Final Four. Game 1, of course, is Florida and Auburn. That'll tip off just after 3. Game 2, Duke and Houston. That's just closer to about 6 o'clock. And we'll be hosting a viewing party. We're doing props and squares that are worth $100 each, and they're free when you get in. Also, 25 people at halftime at each game will be able to roll the jumbo the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000. Got a lot of other great prizes as too. That's the Weekapaw Casino and Resort and Dos Equis all stepping up. All the details are up on our website. We hope that you'll join us. The website is rockandmanuch.com. Hooterization. Easy for me to say. Hooters is getting a family-friendly makeover. You're going to hear from their CEO. But first, Major League Baseball is scrambling to catch up after the Yankees power show, which was perfectly legal. The torpedo bats. What is it? All this noise? We'll get into it next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2. Plus, all of our shows are on the Arizona Sports app.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizzeria. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety, so everyone will find something they love. And the best part? We don't charge per head. Just tell us how many people you need to feed, and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at venezias.com. That's venezias.com. Venezias, a family and catering tradition.
It's the championship game. Who will seize that one shining moment? Make plans to join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B for the Ultimate Hoops Finals Party at Tempe Twin Peaks, Monday, April 7th. The guys broadcast 1 to 4, then the event begins at 5 p.m., courtesy of Bud Light and Neutral. At halftime, you'll have a chance to roll the jumbo dice for $25,000. Don't miss the excitement at Tempe Twin Peaks, or catch it at one of the other 4 locations. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
At Grand Canyon University, we believe in equal opportunity, and the American dream starts with purpose. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's learning environments are designed for supportive networking and collaboration. With over 330 academic programs, GCU provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Find your purpose at GCU. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu.
Join us at Vans Golf Shop by Worldwide Golf to test drive the new TaylorMade QI 35 Woods, the fourth generation of carbon wood technology. This driver unlocks a new level of distance by combining optimal launch conditions and ultimate forgiveness to maximize performance. Book your fitting in-store or online. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, proudly serving golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Did you bust your bracket? Lose a few bucks? No worries. Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy D are here to help you win cash during their College Hoops Playoffs final weekend viewing party at the WKP Sportsbook in Wekopa Casino Resort. Join them for free cash props and squares contests for both Saturday games. Plus, you could roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000 during both halftimes. Cash money! Enjoy Dos Equis specials and win cash just for watching with them.
Summer is just around the corner. Is your roof ready for the monsoon season? Well, now's the perfect time to call State 48 Roofing for a free roof inspection. Don't wait until you're dealing with a leaky roof in the scorching heat. Protect your home today. Visit state48roofing.com or call 480-268-4509. Keep your roof sexy with State 48 Roofing, the #1 referred roofer in Arizona, proudly serving the Arizona residential and commercial markets for over a decade.
Let's get back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620.
High drive, right field. See ya. A 3-run home run for Jazz Chisholm. The balls just keep flying out in the Bronx.
You got to remember, not everybody uses it. Aaron Judge doesn't use it. And it was funny, I was sitting down with Buster Olney and a few other people before the game. But Buster Olney was saying every team has access to this technology. Other teams use it. Some guys like it. Some guys don't. So this isn't as if the Yankees have unearthed some kind of secret plutonium that only they have. This is stuff that anybody else in baseball can do if they want to do. Now, they've got an MIT guy who has kind of put this thing together, and they have tailor-made the bats to the strengths of their selective players who decide to use that technology and use that type of bat. I don't think it is necessarily a big deal. I think it's a big deal because it was brought up in a broadcast in which the Yankees hit 9 home runs, a franchise record.
Yeah, I think it's a big deal. Anna Stroff with that, ESPN Radio, as a big storyline from the weekend is the Yankees. I mean, they scored 20 runs on Saturday over the Brewers. They're averaging 12 runs a game through the first 3 games of the season. 5 players were using this bat, which MLB requires that the bats are smooth and round and don't have lengths of more than 2.61 inches and 42 inches, respectively, when it comes to the size of the bat and the round of the bat, the diameter and all that. So
they're legal. They're technically legal.
They're legal.
They're legal bats. I mean, they just.
Well, when someone first pulls the bat out and it's legal and not everybody else is doing it, and then you see the amount of runs that they scored. Granted, Aaron Judge had a phenomenal weekend, and he does not use the bat. I think that is, and it's the Yankees. If this was the Marlins or Diamondbacks or some small market team, I don't think people would have made this much of made such a story. But, you know, the back page of the New York Post on Sunday, boom, Yankees hit team record 9 home runs, including 3 on the first 3 pitches and 3 from Judge alone. The Daily News, Judge blasts the dingers as Yankees brutalized the Brewers, setting a team record by hitting home runs 9 times. And then, yes, today's papers, the Daily News, Bombers have rest of MLB saying, "Damn the torpedoes!" I like that. And their bats pound the Brewers. And then the New York Post had Yankees' explosive start continues. A new look bats helped finish sweep. Damn, the torpedoes. And then Newsday, man, their torpedoes. Yankees barrel up again with their uniquely designed lumber sweep Brewers.
There's currently 13 players in the major leagues that are using the torpedo bat. You mentioned 5 for the Yankees. The pitchers will adjust. They'll go, okay, it's kind of funny. You get the scouting report for these guys, bust them inside, bust them outside here. Oh, by the way, uses a torpedo bat. So I think pitchers will be aware of that. But so if pitchers will adjust, they'll throw away. If he's a right-hander, they'll throw it away. You try to bust him inside. Guys got more meat on the barrel. They'll get away with it, hitting a flare to left field. And just understand that bat has got a little more meat to it, but it's technically fine. But part of the scouting report is who uses a torpedo bat, who does use a torpedo bat.
I find
they'll adjust. They always do.
They always do.
Yeah.
I find this to be one of the funniest stories to ever open a Major League Baseball season.
This Suarez for the Diamondbacks used a torpedo bat.
No, he did.
He had 4 dingers this weekend.
Yeah. Nobody's talking about him.
Everybody's talking about him because he's the Major League.
Yeah, he's
National League Player of the
It
Week.
was only my G2G, Jimmy.
I know, but on the East Coast where all of this took
torpedo play,
nobody is talking about him. They're talking about Aaron Judge, who doesn't even use the bat and the torpedo bat.
What they're talking about the Diamondbacks is not Suarez, but those are only 4 home runs the Diamondbacks have the entire weekend.
That's a good point.
When you got the Yankees hitting them out left, right, 15 home runs in their first 3 games, tied the 2006 Tigers into that going back. But, the Tigers, torpedo bat wasn't even around when they did that. But I think it's just a lot of it, just the talent of the hitter from that and knocking them out.
You know damn well that as of yesterday and even at the end of Saturday, every major league batting coach and front office,
equipment manager,
I don't think that's Clubby is ordering all these bats. That's no question. All right. Hooters is trying to fight off bankruptcy by getting a family-friendly makeover. Now, there aren't a lot of specifics yet, but the ownership says they want to be a place that the whole family can go, not just dad. And we have some sound from one of the recently laid off waitresses who wanted to kind of, talk about this. So here's what she had to say.
Hey, y'all. We're back. Right when you thought we were done as a chicken fried steak, me and the Hooter girls will be back for more, including more material on our backsides because Hooters is going to make it more family friendly. I already contacted former waitresses Lindsay, Kinsey, Mindy, and Cindy. And Cindy spells it the bad girl way with an S-I-N-D-Y. And all of us are so excited to get back into whatever uniform they put us in. There won't be any more bikini night promotions, but they let me keep mine, so I'll be wearing it around the pool this summer. So if you were saying to yourself, I wish there was a restaurant with more fresher items, but with less cleavage and a dumb name, you are in luck. Hooters is ready to serve you. Hey, maybe they'll even have man waiters. Nah, that'd be stupid.
How about that?
I flew on Hooters Airlines once. Remember that long ago?
Yes.
Hooters Airlines.
Remember.
Yeah.
By the way,
they had a Hooters hotel in Vegas as well.
Well, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
They were pushing
Hooters Airlines.
They were pushing the commercials. They're on TV.
Yeah, everywhere.
Everywhere about this family-friendly, user-friendly, and there's the Gallon uniform that they have. And come join us at Hooters, all the specials, and your family is all invited. I mean, they were beating it up all weekend with the NCAAs going on.
Are you okay, Jimmy B, if they had male waiters?
Doesn't matter to me.
If
the food's
at
good,
Hooters,
that's all I care about.
That's all
He's going for the food,
that's
Rock.
all I care about.
I'm so full of it. Shut up.
Yeah. Hey, honey, let's go to Hooters. They got a special on wings.
I knew you would get out of that one. I just knew it.
Just not a pretty face here.
Oh, man.
Jeez. Well, if you're not familiar with the story, there are reports that Hooters was preparing to file Chapter 11 bankruptcy that would result in a bunch of closures. They currently have around 250 locations in the United States. I believe they closed 70 in the last couple few months, and they're like $300 million in debt. So I just it's hard to believe if you're gonna de-Hooterize or re-Hooterization. I don't know what to make it more family friendly. I mean, what's your kid gonna, instead of saying, hey, instead of go to Chuck E. Cheese, he's gonna want to go to Hooters, a middle school kid?
Hey, get Hooters, so take the kids. Yeah, those 8 and 10-year-olds are gonna have a blast.
I just can't imagine.
Well, it was surprising to see the ads on TV the last 2 weeks, as much as they're showing them, what they're going through this bankruptcy change of really pushing that family friendly.
Got to try something.
You're doing whatever you can to put it out there, and they're still in the same uniforms, what have you. So it's just very interesting. They're like, oh, okay. All right, I get it. You want to push the family atmosphere? Oh, the special on wings.
So did I ever tell you the story about I dressed up Halloween as a Hooters girl?
Oh man, I want pictures.
So me and my buddy, we were both working for the Phoenix Cardinals at the time, and we went to Jets and Sticks.
Remember him well?
Myself and my buddy AT, and we had a buddy in town from college, and he dressed like Mike Tyson with the mask. So we walked in.
Perfect.
He's in the middle, and then us two. And I can't make this up. And of course, I was in my 20s, and had a few cocktails.
You're just young and dumb, Rock.
Having a good time.
Sure.
Yep. And who do we see? At Jets and Sticks, hanging out, dancing? Dan Marley. He's in his prime.
Thunder Dan.
He's in his prime, and sure enough, what did we do? We went up to him and started dancing with him. And he was just miserable because you saw he was such a good guy, but Thunder Dan was the man.
Yeah, he was the dude,
him and Barkley. I mean,
Sure.
they were running the city, and that was a good time.
They were probably running Jets and Sticks too in those days too.
Yeah,
I'm sure they were.
All right, well, we're going to catch up with ABC 15's Craig Fooey for a little Factor Fooey, but first, here's Jax. He has a Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. We appreciate you listening. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. I'm Jackson Groff. Arizona State Sun Devils tip off at 5:30 p.m. against Nebraska for the first ever college basketball crown tournament in Las Vegas, Nevada, with a $300,000 prize for the winner. In the NBA, Sun star Kevin Durant will miss at least 1 week after injuring his ankle last night. He's out for Phoenix's road trip against Milwaukee, Boston, and the New York Knicks. And lastly, Diamondbacks third baseman Gino Suarez wins NL Player of the Week after crushing 4 homers and 7 RBIs, tying Aaron Judge for the MLB lead in home runs. Watch the Final Four at any of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations with ice-cold Bud Light and neutral specials, but join us for your chance to win $25,000 next Monday as we host the championship game at Twin Peaks Tempe in the Twin Peaks Tempe Town Center. That's Twin Peaks Tempe, the national championship. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
It's the championship game. Who will seize that one shining moment? Make plans to join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B for the ultimate hoops finals party at Tempe Twin Peaks, Monday, April 7th. The guys broadcast 1 to 4, then the event begins at 5 p.m., courtesy of Bud Light and Neutral. At halftime, you'll have a chance to roll the jumbo dice for $25,000. Don't miss the excitement at Tempe Twin Peaks, or catch it at one of the other 4 locations. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views. Tired of the same old weekend routine? Then head to Putting World. Experience an elevated 18-hole golf adventure, followed by delicious eats, handcrafted cocktails, and live music at our chef-driven restaurant, Bar 19. Enjoy daily specials and happy hour deals that are sure to keep your wallet happy. Birdies, bites, and brews await. Check out this week's live music schedule at puttingworld.com, or just swing on by Putting World, located in the Scottsdale Promenade. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
Join Sun Devil Baseball as they host the team down south for a 3-game series starting April 4th through April 6th. Be sure to stick around after the Friday, April 4th game to enjoy a post-game fireworks show. On Saturday before the 6:30 first pitch, don't miss the special celebration of the 1975 College World Series team. And finally, to close out the series, Sun Devil Baseball will have its annual Green Game starting at 5 p.m. Get your tickets today by going online to sundeviltickets.com. Go Devils!
Craving tacos? There's one spot in town that everyone can't stop talking about. The Taco Spot. With mouth-watering, authentic Mexican flavors and a modern twist. It's no wonder they're the local favorite.
The Taco Spot has the best tacos I've ever had.
With locations opening all over Arizona, satisfying your cravings has never been easier. Come and experience the tacos to talk about. Enjoy handmade tortillas and fresh made-to-order meals that will leave your taste buds dancing. The Taco Spot, where every bite is a fiesta.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and a resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner and Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner and Rowe is the way to go. On 977-1900. 977-1900.
It's time for Fact or Phooey with ABC 15 Sports Director Craig Phooey. Phooey joins the guys each Monday to break down the top stories of the weekend. And as a reminder, Manuch writes the questions. Now here's ABC 15's Craig Phooey.
All right, Phooey joins us now on the right Toyota guest line. How's your Monday going, Phooey?
Hey.
Hey. Doing all right?
What's up? Yeah, I was just listening. I guess I was listening to the other radio station or something.
Did that feed in again? That happened last week, too.
Yeah, it happened last week. Yeah, I'm listening to the other guys. Yeah.
Wow. So how's Burns Campo doing? What are they talking about?
I know, right?
Okay, that's good.
We're in commercial break. I was listening to Wolf do some commercial advertising.
All right, we gotta work on that. So, all right, let's get to Factor Phooey. We think we got this down. All right, question number 1. Without Kevin Durant or Bradley Beal, the Suns have no chance to make the play-in tournament with 7 games left. Factor Phooey.
Let me do this. Let me rephrase that, Rock.
Okay.
Let me just say, forget the first part and just the second part. The Suns have no chance to make the play-in.
Very good, Phooey. You know, Coach, I was just going to put that, but I'd have a little meat to the bone on that one.
No,
there's
no meat to that.
Yeah.
Listen, Durant's out, right? Badly sprained ankle last night. 7 games to go. He's done. Beal's not coming back. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. These guys don't care. They don't play like there's any pride. I mean, it's bizarre.
You know, very obvious, unfortunately, Coach, to watch that. You give up 78 points the first half, 70 the second half. I mean, it's guys, a little effort, a little energy. I mean, to throw passes away time in and time out, carelessness.
There's only 19 turnovers.
Only 19. Yeah, that's kind of the mantra for this team. All right, Coach, question number 2. The Suns team, with all of its expectations, will go down as one of the biggest flops in Arizona pro sports history. Fact or Phooey?
Okay, I'm going to take another piece out of that question, Manuch. Forget the one of and just try to be both.
Now you're feeling me, Phooey. Now
I'm helping you out with these questions. You should call me in the morning. Let's just cut out some of that garbage.
I had to give a little bit of solace. I was going this morning going, I can't think of another team that had so many expectations that flopped this with Cardinals, Coyotes, looking at the Diamondbacks. This is the number one.
Yeah, listen, you got the big 3. You brought in Durant 2.5 years ago. Then you brought in Bradley Beal. This is a nightmare, right? You got rid of the heart and soul of this team a couple of years ago when you brought in Kevin Durant, and you replaced it with no chemistry, no leadership, and it's just a bunch of guys. They went through Frank Vogel in 1 year, and now they're going to go through Mike Budenholzer in 1 year. What's the problem? What's going on in Phoenix? Because This team is a huge disappointment.
Well, think about what you just said. You had Monty that led them to the title.
Yep.
Didn't win it, and then the next year they won 64 games, and then you got Frank Vogel won a title. Mike Budenholzer won a title. So the commonality or the common denominator is the players, or could be front office on top of that.
Yeah, and think about this, guys. Last week we were talking about the Suns possibly winning 4 straight. They had won 3 straight, and then they ended up beating the Bucks that night, last Monday night, and now look what's happened. They've lost 3 straight by 30, by 15, and 39.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Does James Jones, in your estimation, survive or not?
No. And it probably has to go higher than that. But no, I think James Jones will be the sacrificial lamb on this one, because this is a nightmare. And the only thing you can do now is blow up everything, right? I think Matt Ishbia came in with all good intentions and did what he thought was going to be best for this franchise.
Yeah.
But the reality is it's been anything but. I know he's done great things off the court. He's done great things with concessions and entertainment and all that stuff. But in terms of the product on the court, it's been abysmal.
The question number 3, we're doing Factor Fooey right now. Final 4 teams this year is a true indication of the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer, because there's no mid-majors who have made it to the Final 4. And this will be a common theme moving forward in college basketball. Fact or Fooey?
I'm going to say Fooey on that. Listen, this was obviously the fewest upsets in decades in this tournament, right? We haven't seen, I think there was, it was like 51-31 on the betting favorites straight up on this deal. It tied the 2007 tournament for the best record for favorites. But I just think this is part of the challenge with one and done and the transfer portal. You got your 4-1 seeds. That's the first time that's happened since 2008. So, and only the second time since they expanded the tournament back in 1985, I think, something like that. Anyway, so yeah, I don't think this is going to be indicative of the future, because I think any team can come up and win, especially with the one and done. I haven't liked that since they instituted it. And now the transfer portal, I think in day one, a week ago, there was already more transfers in the portal than there were all of last year. So Indiana's left with no players. I mean, it's a mess right now.
Well, and the coach is moving around as well too now. Coach.
Well,
I mean,
the coaches are going to move around. That's going to happen. A guy gets a mid-major into the tournament, and he's going to get a better job, and then other guys are going to get fired for not delivering on their promises, and so it's going to continue to happen. But I think you're going to have to start signing contracts with players to keep them intact.
All right, Fooey, question 4, though it's early. The D-backs cannot afford to play 500 baseball this year if they want to make the playoffs. Fact or Fooey?
No, that's a fact. I mean, that's pretty simple, right? They've got to get more than 88 wins or 89 wins, something like that. I think they got to target 90 to get in the wild card, somewhere in that. And I think they'll be there. I think this was a tough opening series. Obviously, Zach Gallen did not perform on Thursday night the way we had hoped in the opening game. 4 innings for him. Brandon Pfaadt, was a tough outing for him, and not terrible outing, but just a tough one. But they're batting well, they're hitting well, they're doing things they should. But the defense and the base running was just atrocious this weekend, wasn't it? Like, holy crap! What are you guys doing?
Don't you get that figured out in spring training, Coach? I mean,
well, that's what they talked about. We were out there most of spring training, right? Yeah. Almost every day out there for spring training, and Torrey kept talking about this is where we work things out. We're going to iron these things out. But boy, they just look bad. All
right, Coach, last question. We will see many major league teams switching to the torpedo bats being used by the Yankees and several other players after hitting 15 home runs in its first 3 games of the season and tying the 2006 Tigers for the record. Monkey see, monkey do. Fact or Fooey?
Just like the tush push. Everybody's going to be doing it. Oh, wait, nobody does it. No. Oh, wait, it's only the Eagles. That's right. Listen, I don't understand why it took some, graduate student from MIT to figure this out, right? It's like baseball's been around a long time, and is it legal? I guess that's the question, right? Is it all legal?
It is, yeah. That's legal, yes.
So is the tush push.
Yes,
right?
it is.
Nobody else is doing it.
Yeah.
I think the trouble is that the Yankees got to jump on everybody because they probably started doing it a little early, and nobody else knows it. I don't know if a batter is going to switch bats mid-season, right? Early season. Maybe they will. But, man, as soon as they strike out about 7 times, they'll throw that bat in the trash and go back to the one they're used to. But, yeah, I think it's going to happen, right? Just like Sammy Sosa's cork bats. So those ended up in Lake Michigan, didn't they? That's right.
Philly, one bonus one in regards to not a factor, Philly, but just your take on, there's been a different head coach here for the Phoenix Suns 3 straight seasons. Will there be a fourth? Or do you expect that Bud will get the benefit of the doubt because of his history and be able to stick for another year?
That's a tough one. You know what, Rock? I've been thinking about, and Colin and I have been talking about it a lot here too, about what happens to Coach Bud. The guy comes in, he's the guy that beat the Suns back in 2021 for the NBA title when he was in Milwaukee, and he's a local guy here, grew up in Arizona. Is it his fault that this team is a mess? I think he may be like James Jones, maybe a sacrificial lamb, but how many coaches can you continue to pay if you're Matt Ishbia? I think maybe if you can blow this thing up, the team-wise, this summer, maybe you give Bud another season. But, boy, they've just looked uninspired, unenthusiastic, like they don't care. And I guess that falls on the head coach. So I'm kind of hoping Bud stays around because I think he's trying to do things the right way, but there's no options for him.
Could you see Booker? Could you see them making a move on Booker?
I do now, yeah. I know Ishbia said no a few weeks ago, that he's the cornerstone of the franchise, the face of the franchise. But at this point, man, what are you not listening to if people are calling you?
Yeah, absolutely. Fooey, as always, don't work so hard, all right?
Thanks, guys. No, I'll go back to listening to Wolf.
You got it. Good luck. That's great, Fooey, joining us. ABC 15, check them out. 5, 6, and 10, and always at Fooey on Sports. So appreciate Craig joining us there. He has brought you today by the Taco Spot. The Taco Spot with locations throughout Arizona and Texas. Come and experience the tacos to talk about. For a location near you, just head to tacospotaz.com. Well, the New York Jets, they're cleaning house, literally. But first, Jimmy B's sneakers are cool now, according to GQ. And how about this? Can driving on too much coffee get you a DUI? That's next right here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Count.
Arena Sports Grill in Scottsdale on Bell Road is your home for billiards, poker, and trivia. And the Roc and Manuch Amber on tap. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, daily specials, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Amber poured by Dos Equis. Arena Sports Grill open daily until 2 a.m. For their daily specials, head to arenasportsgrills.com. That's Arena Sports Grill in North Scottsdale.
Join the team at the largest towing company in the state, All City Towing. We're hiring dispatchers, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, and customer service personnel. Enjoy benefits like the state's most advanced towing equipment, set work schedules, a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance, and a monthly fuel allowance. Ready to take your career to the next level? Visit us at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move.
Arizona's headquarters for Toyotas is Wright Toyota. Hey, Rock, for my friends at Wright Toyota in Scottsdale. You will always find the right deal at Wright Toyota. Wright Toyota has been driving Arizona's home for years with their amazing service, pricing, and great selections. I encourage you to discover the difference at Wright Toyota. Make the right choice, Wright Toyota, just off the 101 on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard, and always online at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection. Check out WrightToyota.com.
Did you bust your bracket? Lose a few bucks? No worries. Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy D are here to help you win cash during their College Hoops Playoffs final weekend viewing party at the WKP Sportsbook in Wecopa Casino Resort. Join them for free cash props and squares contests for both Saturday games. Plus, you could roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000 during both halftimes. Cash money! Enjoy Dos Equis specials and win cash just for watching with them.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get 5 quarts of O'Reilly full synthetic motor oil and a MicroGuard oil filter for $29.99. In-store only. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
How can you free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business. Smart business buying tools enable buyers to find and purchase items fast so they can focus on strategy and growth. Free up your team and focus on your future. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Coffee is the great incentivizer in the office. It's the drug. It's quite literally a drug that speeds people up.
I tried coffee, find a laxative.
So wake me up when it's all over. When I'm wiser and I'm older.
In the mood for hot coffee? When you are, nothing else will satisfy.
It's good coffee. I'm going to drink it. This is some real good coffee right there.
So wake me up when it's all over. When I'm wiser and I'm older.
I want a urine sample from everyone and get me a latte. Don't mix up the two.
You know, I've had 35 cups of coffee this morning. Can I get you some coffee?
Just need something to help me think straight.
All right, driving on too much coffee could get you a DUI.
No,
come on.
Too hyped up. You know,
there is a lawyer in Fort Worth, Texas, is in the news claiming that you could get a DUI from drinking too much coffee. He put a post online talking about how a DUI or DWI, it's not just booze or drugs. It's if you are impaired during if you're impaired while driving, then you could be in trouble.
You're too caffeinated?
Yes.
I've never heard of that.
So a guy in
can never be too
California,
caffeinated.
a guy in California, yeah, you could. Think about how jittery you get and how crazy, how buzzed you get. Some people.
Yeah.
And they're freaking out because they got so much caffeine in their system. A guy in California got pulled over in 2015. He was driving erratically, and caffeine was the only thing in his system. So they charged him with a DUI for it. Now, he eventually got dropped because they couldn't prove how much caffeine was in his system to make him so-called intoxicated. But it is possible. Now, has it happened yet? No. But is it possible? Yes.
Well, I've an empty stomach had a lot of coffee. I've got a little, you get a little
drink
hyped
it
up
all day.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess I'm used to it. My body's immune to it. But I mean, I could see if you're empty stomach, you drink a whole pot and you're a little wired. But I don't know how you test for having too much caffeine in your system. I see cocaine in your system, but not caffeine in your system. So if he was wigged out literally and causing a havoc, I guess there's some kind of intent to that.
GQ says grandpa shoes, aka Jimmy B shoes, are in fashion now. They did a big write-up on New Balance's new line of they're orthopedic looking. They're about $250, and it has become a hit. And it's a trend that grandparents have started. It's going mainstream, but it's typically, the shoes we're talking about, guys.
Yes,
your grandfather wears them, right? It's there's New Balance. They may have Velcro on them. They may not.
Soles.
Yes, the Skechers and some people. So, yeah, GQ says they're now the cool thing.
They're cool.
Jimmy,
people say things,
I am styling and profiling.
People say things come around, right?
Yeah,
man. They come
Come
back
around.
Hey, bell-bottom pants making a comeback.
So approximately as we get to football at 50, Connor, 170 of the 250 New York Jets employees must decide today whether to accept a buyout offered earlier this month. It's a deal that would give most of the senior employees more than 18 months of full salary and health insurance if they leave.
Protection breaks down and time runs out. Down goes Rodgers in the sack for Leonard Floyd. And now Rodgers sits down. A few plays into game one. He's coming out of the game.
Things just can't get any worse for the New York Jets and the New York Jets fan base.
You also
whenever I have an opportunity, just little.
shot. Yeah.
I agree. And Woody Johnson talking about the NFL Players Association grading his team. Former players gave him an F. He said that's bogus. Hey, guys don't lie about that kind of stuff. Guys that have been there and done that. So Woody a little upset, looking to clean house, looking to go get rid of those people that have got the F grades. I think he got rid of a couple of the players that might have been there. But, yeah, it's kind of like retooling, Jimmy, to your point, that the Jets are probably going to have to take. They're on the down low. They're low key. They're basically saying, hey, look, we're going to do it the right way. And I think a lot of it has to do with their head coach. I think that Woody Johnson's bought into him, Aaron Glenn being the head coach, and said, look, this is the way I've been doing it. I've seen the success. On top of that, the offers, if you don't want to be here, here's an 18-month worth of salary plus benefits. Don't let the door hit you in the rear end on the way out.
Hey, I'm hoping that they offer them up the article that GQ did on those shoes. That'll be perfect.
Hey, Browns owner Jimmy Haslam on the team's trade for Deshaun Watson. This is a quote. We took a big swing and a miss with Deshaun.
Did they ever?
We thought we had the quarterback. We didn't, and we gave up a lot of draft picks to get him. So we've got to dig ourselves out of that hole. That being the trade was entirely an organizational decision, and it ends up with D&I. So we'll hold ourselves accountable.
All right. So if he comes out and admits it that they made a egregious error,
they did. He just did.
So are we going to get that from the Phoenix Suns to tie the two together? I mean,
what does Deshaun Watson have to do with the Phoenix Suns?
Because he admitted he made an egregious error because Watson never worked and was often injured. With the Phoenix Suns, they went out and got Durant and Beal, often injured, no, it's not, and it never worked.
I see what he's saying, Jen.
Well, but it never worked. I see what he's saying, Dan.
I mean, he's trying to make a case that an owner is going to admit for his mistake.
Well, okay, yes. I could see that, but the one thing about the problem that they had is that they got him with this suspension.
Well, I know,
but they also gave up a lot.
Yeah,
they did.
Yeah, they gave up everything to get him. I'm not doing the suspension thing. I'm just talking about Haslam came out and said, I really screwed up.
Yeah,
I just wonder if we're going to get something similar.
You know what? I think that as all the guys he bought or played, they're playing. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, I think that what he's getting at is, his issues were at Houston before he went to Cleveland. Yeah. Again, they guaranteed with that lurking over him.
Yeah.
That's one thing. These guys, the Suns players, are all playing.
Bradley Beal has been out. He has the same contract that Deshaun Watson has. No trade guarantee.
And again, I think it's just an owner that's got so much money. He feels they can go make those kind of moves or those kind of trades and make things happen. It's kind of like that new girl, that gal that goes and dates a guy that's kind of not a real good history, kind of a knucklehead, that she feels she can fix him, right? We all hear, she can fix him. Well, they felt if they got Deshaun Watson, with his talent, what he did, he was 3-time All-Pro.
He was really good in Houston.
And all these issues he had with the massage therapist and all that, get him to Cleveland, give him the big money, and see what he did at Houston. Little did they know, he was suspended for half a year. Mm-hmm. Then he got hurt, and there's so many of those mistakes. Yes, hindsight's 20/20. I get it, but if the circumstances with Deshaun Watson were much more egregious than going and getting Bradley Beal and Kevin Durant.
So the NFL owners are meeting. They started yesterday in Palm Beach, Florida. One of the measures that they are going to vote on, it may have come down by now, I haven't seen it, that they're going to flex a week earlier the Thursday night football game. It's in case they want to swap out for a better matchup. So if it passes, it would make the Thursday game 20 days out for the teams that they can make the change instead of the current 28 days. I don't know how much of a difference that makes, but I'm sure planning-wise it does have a lot to do behind the scenes. But that's definitely one deal that they're talking about. Another is playing a game in Dubai. Playing a game in Dubai as the NFL continues to expand their marketing efforts internationally. And it looks as though the Rams, 49ers, and Commanders have all expressed interest as they are doing everything in their power to expand their brand.
A lot of money over there. By the way, Rock, they just did approve that tweak, as you mentioned. They just approved about an hour ago.
Good. Okay. Also, they're talking the tush push has been the big story today. It looks as though that's going to get passed, and they're going to get rid of it. I think that's just crap.
I agree, 100%.
I guarantee there was nobody on no Eagles owners that are voting against that.
It just amazes me that the success of one team, that everybody else that can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
I think Buffalo and the Eagles are pretty much the most prominent guys that do it. That they've got to put a action to stop it. They say, well, it's not a play. Well, stop it. What do you mean it's not a play? It's a quarterback sneak. Now, if they wanted to tweak and say, look, it's just the guys up front in front of the quarterback. There's no pushing from behind by the other players to Jalen Hurts, whoever the quarterback is. I could see that. I could see something like that. But it just drives me nuts that all of a sudden this success is happening and they want to quash it and say, well, it's not fair to our team. Well, just stop it. Put all 11 guys over your center. Have guys, as we saw a couple times, try to time the jump and hit Jalen Hurts. Even then, it's been unsuccessful. So I think
it's a bad look. I think it's a really bad look for the NFL.
I think it's a bad look for the owners.
To get rid of it?
Yeah, to get rid of it. Yeah.
They need 24 teams to pass it to make a change. So, but let's look at all the teams that lost to Philly this year. I bet they're the ones that are going to vote
against it.
But you have coaches like Sean McVay came out and says, and this he was on with Mike Florio and PFT Live, and he said it doesn't look like football to me. I think it looks like football.
It's a quarterback sneak.
Yeah,
what it is. I mean, it's if Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Eagles, can go politic or lobby for guys not to approve this. There's 24 of the owners he likes. They can say, hey, look, guys, this is the way it's football, the way we do it. We've had success. Or if he has any favors that they owe him, I think that could come into play.
So are they going to eliminate then, because of this, the quarterback sneak?
Well, okay, that's my contention. What's the difference between this and a quarterback sneak? So you can't have guys, here's the thing, can't have guys push you from behind. So if they're going to limit the tush push, they got to clarify what you can and can't do.
There you go.
Yeah. The quarterbacks can't run the ball anymore.
That's be nuts.
Oh,
that's part of the game now.
No, I know. I'd be speechless there. Hey, next Monday, we'll be broadcasting from the Tempe Twin Peaks. We'll be there from 1 to 4, and then it's a national championship viewing party. Thanks to our friends at Bud Light and Neutral. At halftime, 25 people will have a chance to roll the jumbo dice for $25,000. That is next week, a week from today at the Tempe Twin Peaks. If you can't make it to Tempe, you have 4 other Valley locations to check out. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, and scenic views. We have NAU former head coach Mike Adris will join us. Frank Sanders will also stop by. And then we're going to go out to Fayetteville. I think it's North Carolina.
North Carolina, yep.
It's not South Carolina.
Not Arkansas. Fayetteville, North Carolina.
We're going to talk about the Dukies. That's all coming up as we continue on. ESPN 620 and on FM 98.7 HD2. Plus all of our shows are on the Arizona Sports app. Appreciate you hanging out with us today.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. 800-961-5544. 800-961-5544.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. with easy access to 1 million plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away, so the One can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores, Cocoa 5 Active Hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and a resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
KTAR AM Phoenix, Arizona's home for the worldwide leader in sports, is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Izzo just told his team, don't foul. That's it. The storybook season continues for Auburn. The Tigers are going to the Final Four. It will be all chalk on the Riverwalk.
For the second time in NCAA history, it's all 4 number 1 seeds: Auburn, Duke, Florida, and Houston from San Antonio. And joining us now, as he has throughout the tournament, throughout the so-called madness, Mike Adris, former coach at NAU, joins us now. How we doing, Coach? What's happening this Monday? It's all number 1s. Chalk does it. All chalk.
Yeah, Manuch told me that's what he wanted to see. So
yeah, we all got 4. We all had it. We all had it. Is this a clear-cut indication that it'll continue this way because the impact of the NIL and the transfer portal? You think we just got to get used to it so we can forget about Cinderella stories?
I'm kind of leaning that way. It's a great debate right now. You know, you listen to some of the people and they say, yeah, it's going that way. Others, you know, I heard Jay Wright say that this is a good thing because we have the best playing the best, right? And I guess that's a nice positive spin on what we're winding up with right now. But it's just really difficult. You know, the March Madness was created because of Cinderella, right? Everybody loves that part of the story. And I don't know where that happens moving forward. I look at a school like Robert Morris. You know, they hadn't been in the tournament in years, and they won their league and they won their conference tournament, and now they're in the NCAA tournament, and it's a great thing for their school, their program, their coaching staff. And they got beat first round, and promptly thereafter, all 5 starters put themselves into the transfer portal. So, you know, I mean, that's just what's going to happen. And it's really hard to think that mid-majors can continue year after year. I mean, it was hard for Robert Morris to build that program, this team this year. And then it just disintegrates just like that. And you can't fault the young men for the financial opportunity of a lifetime.
Coach, when you looked at the games this weekend, Florida coming back, I don't know how they did that. They did. A lot of fouling going on against Texas Tech, getting those free throws that you always talk about. But the other game, really, watching Duke match the pace and then their defense. Really? Yeah, their defense all over Alabama. A couple of things that stood out in my mind this weekend.
Well, I like both of those, and you're right. I mean, Duke was, to me, the most impressive team, both back to Thursday's game and then Saturday's game, because they were so dominant defensively. I mean, they looked easily offensively, but defensively, what they do is they force you out a little further than you want to be. And when you're starting your offense out a little further, you don't even realize it. And so now you're shooting shots from a little further out, and all of a sudden, as the game progresses, you're not hitting shots, you're short on shots. And I certainly saw that in the Alabama players. I mean, they looked horribly frustrated in that ball game. So you have to give Duke's defense a lot of credit for creating that frustration.
Coach, but the strategy by Todd Golden to just continue to foul this Texas Tech team, knowing they were one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the tournament, not in the Elite Eight, but the tournament, and then countering that with 2 or a 3, I went, wow, got them back in the game, and then it helped them win this game. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great comeback by them. It was, you're right. I'm going to tell you what I always say, free throws win ball games, and, Texas Tech missing front ends of 1-and-1s and just the frustration, and then it builds, and now you're shaking in your confidence standing there at that free throw line, because I tell you what, sometimes you stand there, you feel like you're on an island all by yourself, and you just want to make sure that you can get off that island, and when you're not doing well and your mind's playing tricks on you, it becomes very, very difficult to make that very simple shot that they probably can make, but not in that pressure situation.
Coach, I want to take you back to Duke, but I'll preface my question by saying this. Auburn, their youngest player out of the starters is 22. Their oldest player is 25. That is totally not the case with Duke, but I watched a couple of pundits over the weekend talk about, well, they're freshmen. Coach, you coached in this game for a long time. When does a freshman not be a freshman anymore? How many games does it take where you have the confidence in those young guys that they are now men?
Well, that the question is, how many games do they need? For some of them, they've played so many games up to this point now, entering their freshman year. It's not like years ago when you had your high school season ended so long ago. Kids are playing year round. I'm watching on TV today. The McDonald's kids were now televising their scrimmages. Okay, not the McDonald's game, but the McDonald's scrimmage. So, I guess my point is, with the freshmen, if they play, November, December, you start seeing a difference in them by the time they get to league play and whatnot. Now, if it's a freshman that hasn't been on your bench and just wasn't ready, or they're behind somebody, and now as the season progresses, they're getting a little bit more playing time, a little bit more confidence. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say that, you look at them and you go, oh, that's a true freshman right there, right? But somebody else who started day one and has been in the lineup and is playing, that's a different story. And I don't think they're freshmen anymore. So to I guess, poorly answer your question, after a couple of months of the season, they're not freshmen anymore. But age does play a factor. There's no question. A 25-year-old man going up against an 18-year-old, the physical maturity is a huge difference in that matchup.
Okay, you talk about the player and the age. What about these four coaches? What makes a difference with the head coaches?
Yeah, that's a good question as well, right? I mean, Kelvin Sampson's been around the block a lot, right? John Shire, not so much, but certainly, you think that okay. And in the other matchup, you have Bruce Pearl, who's been there, been coaching a long time, has worked his way up from the assistant for a number of years, Division II, and so you would say that the coaches, the two old timers, so to speak, have a lot of more experience on those young guys. But if those young guys have better players, I guess.
Yeah, because you look at Todd Golden and Shire, they both became head coaches at the same time, which wasn't that long ago, as we know. So
Right.
I'm anxious if that will become a storyline as we get closer to the Final Four.
I don't know how you cannot focus on that a little bit, right? There's a week going on here in between, so we're going to roll through a whole bunch of, why is this team better than that team? And certainly, the coaches and their preparation and how they approach it with their kids. Did they take a couple days off at the beginning of the week to keep their kids fresh, for Saturday's game? Or, Kelvin Sampson, I've been doing it this way for 25, 30 years. I'm going to continue to do it the way I've always done it, and I don't believe he's that way. I think he's great because he's learned to adapt through the times of his career, and it's been a great career, and he's been successful everywhere he's been. He's just running into a very, very hot team. The thing I see about Duke right now, guys, is I think that team's getting better as this tournament goes on, and I don't know if I can say that about the other three teams. They're good, but have they really played better as the tournament has gone along?
What will change your thought process? It sounds as though in your voice that you got Duke winning it all. What could change that in the next 5 days?
Stories I hear, I guess. I don't know. I somebody's going to have to convince me otherwise, because I do believe that. But personally, I picked Houston to win this whole thing.
Okay.
Over a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, when I saw how good they were defensively, and I think they have a chance. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a blow away. We're just going to show up and play these games and Duke's going to win. I don't believe that. If Houston can impose that defensive will and cause some problems, then they do have a chance, right? But I just think, on paper, if you play this tournament out the rest of the way, this Final Four, 5 times, Duke's going to win 4 of the 5 times is what I believe at this point.
All right, Coach, we'll catch up with you later in the week. We'll see if these storylines influence that on you. Maybe not going with Houston and maybe going with someone else. So we'll tap into that later in the week. But thanks for joining us today, as always. Appreciate you, Coach.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me.
That's Mike Adris joining us, the former NAU head coach. Spent 20 years up there for the Lumberjacks. So appreciate his time. So Duke and Houston, both number 1 seeds, played amazing defense to get to the Final Four. But which one will get the offense going too? We'll preview Duke as we'll catch up one of the beat writers for the Dukies. That's next. But first, oh no, we got Jack's update in about 15 minutes. Yes, I'm jumping ahead. We'll continue on. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Being in an auto accident is traumatic. You need to call the best law firm that has the experience to get you the best results. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Murder and road is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900.
Did you bust your bracket? Lose a few bucks? No worries. Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy D are here to help you win cash. during their College Hoops Playoffs final weekend viewing party at the WKP Sportsbook in Wekopa Casino Resort. Join them for free cash props and squares contests for both Saturday games. Plus, you could roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000 during both halftimes. Cash money! Enjoy Dos Equis specials and win cash just for watching with them.
At Dignity Health's Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Institute, keeping you moving is a joint effort. With minimally invasive techniques and a personalized treatment plan, our team of highly specialized orthopedic experts can keep you in motion. We care for your knees, hips, and shoulders so you can enjoy what moves you. Don't let joint pain put your life on pause. Keep moving forward and find your path back to what you love. Learn more at dignityhealth.org/azortho. Hello, human kindness.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we don't say two birds with one stone. We say two damages with one deductible. With us, if your home and auto are both damaged in one storm, you only pay one deductible. And we should probably stop using stones for that sort of thing anyway. Talk to a Farm Bureau Financial Services agent about our one deductible advantage at fbfs.com/protect. It's your future. Let's protect it. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
Rock for WhiteToyota.com. At Wright Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle the kind of experience that earns your recommendation to family and friends. They invite you to use all of their innovative web tools on WrightToyota.com. So if you're looking for a new or pre-owned Toyota, head to their interactive website at WrightToyota.com. The right price, the right selection, all at WrightToyota.com.
Now back to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620.
Two first-team All-Americans going at it. Flag with 3 to shoot. Flag up and over Sears. Too tall at 6'9". And you called it.
All right, with Duke reaching the Final Four this weekend, the ACC has the most Final Four appearances in the past 5 men's NCAA tournaments, the most in the past 10, 15, 20, and 25. The AC leads the way. ACC, that is, as we hear so much about the SEC this year, but it's clearly the ACC. And joining us now from the Fayetteville Observer, he is on the Duke beat. Rod Baxley joins us. You can follow him on Twitter, X at Rod Baxley. Joins us now on ESPN 620 Phoenix. Rod, it's the crew here, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Appreciate you joining us, and I believe you're on. Have you already landed in San Antonio?
No, guys. I did come home for at least 2 days, so I can try to get back to neutral before flying back out Wednesday morning. So.
With this game being at the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, with Houston, 3 hours or so away, it'll be an interesting atmosphere, don't you think? I mean, I know the Dookie fan base travels well, better than almost anybody in the country, but do you expect it a 60-40, a 70-30 Houston?
Yeah, I would still lean 60-40 if I had to bet on it. I mean, Duke just travels so well. I mean, a national brand. Obviously, I don't think it'll be like it was in Newark, where it was almost like Cameron. But, yeah, I think, Houston being so close, it'll be a lot more away fans than Duke has had to deal with so far in March Madness.
What are the expectations with this fan base? Of course, Duke seems to be always there, or North Carolina. You cover them too. Yeah. But when it comes to Duke and the fan base this year, knowing you only get flagged for this year, it's win or go home, right? I mean, they have a little bit of pressure on them.
Yeah, it's national title or bust for this group. You said it there. Cooper Flagg, projected number 1 pick in the NBA draft. John Shire in the offseason put all the pieces around him. So they could chase this title, which would end a decade-long drought. So, yeah, it's national title or bust for the Blue Devils.
So, Rod, as Rock alluded to Cooper Flagg, when you watch this young man, I mean, the maturity, physically, mentally, all the things that he does, is there anything that has not surprised you by this young man, how well he plays on the court, and maybe the way he is off the court as well, too?
Yeah, I mean, on the court these last few weeks, he's gotten a lot more demonstrative
talking a lot more trash. He wasn't doing that earlier in the year. I don't know if he was just feeling his way or if the games got bigger, he just wanted to show more of that personality. But off the court, he's as humble as they come. I mean, he's always praising his teammates, not a big fan of the spotlight. So he's been a joy to cover. And I think his best trait is just how hard he plays. I mean, he's baseline to baseline, sideline to sideline for 40 minutes or however minutes he's out there. And when you're as talented as he is, when you combine that with how hard he plays, it's tough to stop.
Do you give credit to the scouting, the scouts, so to speak, in reference to the other two young guys you have to be so poised and polished? Or do you give credit to the donors to make sure you got those guys at Duke to make sure they show up on campus?
Yeah, I mean, we can't act like the money doesn't matter, right? Yeah. I mean, it matters. But Duke also matters. I mean, these kids want to be at places where they're going to be seen. And Duke is shown on ESPN more than anybody in the nation. They're showing these big-time games. So you have to factor that in. And, yeah, it doesn't hurt to look at Duke's NIL numbers and the way they take care of these young men.
Rod, take me to John Shire. It's a great story. A guy who played and won a championship as a player. He is taking over for an absolute legend.
Yeah.
Is now that particular legend taking a back seat? Or I know he still goes to the games and he's a prominent figure, obviously. But how's that work now?
Yeah, he has been to a lot more games this year, but his biggest thing was he did not want to overshadow John in that first season in particularly, and then even more in the second season. He wanted it to be John's show, and it's hard to do at Cameron because it's not like they have suites. You know, you're out in the open if you're sitting at Cameron. So if Coach K's there, everyone's going to know about it. So I got to give Coach K credit for that. He caught a lot of flack for the way he went out with kind of the farewell tour, but that succession plan has set up Duke for continued success. I mean, it's been incredible when you look at some of these other programs who had to replace legends, and Duke really hasn't had a drop-off. Now, John is not, 5 national championships and the winningest coach in men's college basketball, but he had 27 wins in the first 2 seasons, an Elite 8 appearance last year. He's got 2 ACC tournament titles, and now he's in the Final Four. So I'd say the Blue Devils are in good hands with Shire.
Rod, is he a little more user-friendly head coach than Coach K was a few years ago?
Yeah, 100%, man. I mean, John's 37, so, we don't really call him coach. He still looks like he can play a little bit, and he's always shooting around with the guys. And he's not one to jump down your throat if you mess up a question, whereas Coach K wasn't going to let you off the hook if you messed up. So, yeah, in that regard, it's night and day. But Coach K said it when John was hired. Look, he's going to chart his own course. Obviously, you learn stuff under a legend like Coach K, but you have to create your own path. You can't be the guy Coach K was. You got to be your own guy.
You hear about Shire that he's an X and O's guy. The team is motivated by him and how he treats his players. On the other side, you got Coach Sampson, who's never won a championship, but he's been to the Final Four twice. How much do you feel that experience plays in all this, especially for Shire in his first time?
Yeah, I think it matters a little bit. Okay. But, I mean, at the end of the day, guys, you know how it is. I mean, it's the players between the lines. Yeah. Those are the guys that are going to decide it. Now, you look at how Houston beat Purdue. Those moments do matter when they beat them with that inbounds pass, knowing Purdue's tendencies. But Duke put on a similar display against Alabama when they started switching everything defensively and just hounding Alabama's smaller guards to hold them to their second lowest scoring output of the season. So I think the coaching on both sides is great from the start of the bench at Sampson and Shire down the bench with the assistant coaches. So it should be quite a heavyweight matchup in San Antonio.
Rod, you watch this team all year long, and I know you watched Houston a little bit here and there. Is there a like-kind team that Duke may have played that very similar to what they're going to face against Houston?
Yeah, I mean, somebody asked me that earlier. I don't, because of how physical Houston is, I mean, you can't simulate the kind of physicality you're going to see from them. I mean, I made the joke yesterday. I think both teams should bring their shoulder pads and helmets to San Antonio because it's going to be going to be a battle, man. I would say Auburn is the closest. When they came to Cameron in early December, that was a very physical game, and Duke was prepared for it. They prepared in the preseason with a lot of competitiveness as far as practices go, less individual skill stuff, more team-focused, toughness-driven drills, and it has certainly paid off for Duke after having in the last season as far as their losses were concerned.
Let me follow up then on the physicality factor. The officials, at least in the games that I watched over the weekend, are letting them play. They are letting these guys play a little bit. So if you are Duke and you have that big front line and then Knipple outside, are you going to try to take the ball to the basket, try to get some of those Houston players in foul trouble quickly in the game?
Yeah, I think it's key for both sides. I mean, you look at Kaman Malawach, Duke's 7'2" center, and then you look at Houston's fifth-year center, Jawan Roberts. Both of those guys have a tendency to pick up some fouls. And they've done it in this tournament. So we know how some officials can insert themselves into games. I'm more in favor of letting the players be on the court and play through some of this stuff because we want to see the stars. But yes, absolutely. I think both teams will be in attack mode because there has been a tendency for the big men to pick up fouls, which could be a key factor.
Should we get the SEC football officials for this game? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, send the A crew down there, man.
Hey, as we let you go, just a quick question for Carolina and Bill Belichick. Manuch mentioned he spoke with you yesterday, and how do you think this is going to fly? Will he be there more than a year?
Oh, man, I do not know. I know in December I was like, look, we're going to have plenty of content, good or bad. But the more I'm hearing and seeing, the more I feel like it's going to be a circus instead of a success. I mean, you want to give Bill Belichick credit. He's a winner. And obviously you're not going to turn down a guy like that if he wants to coach your football program. But they are not paying him all this money to go 8-5. They want to be in that college football playoff. And right now, I look at the roster, and I do not see it. So hopefully they can make some moves in the spring portal, and we'll see. But they're not going to be able to hide because that's going to be on the bottom line of the ticker every Saturday as far as Bill Belichick and UNC are concerned.
Rod, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for the time today.
Yeah, you got it, man. Enjoy talking with you.
Yep, that's Rod Baxley. Join him on Twitter and X. It's called @Rod Baxley. He's the Fayetteville Observer beat writer for Duke, NC State, and North Carolina. So he's got it covered. He's got the triangle covered. So check that out. I'm sure he's got a little Clemson in there too. He is brought to you today by All City Towing. They are hiring. They got dispatcher jobs, call takers, lot attendants, drivers, all types of jobs, and great benefits to boot. So if you want to get some information and take your career to the next level, then visit them online at allcitytowing.com. Just search careers. All City Towing, where your future is on the move. This is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2. Plus, all of our shows are on the Arizona Sports app.
Now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's Twin Peaks ESPN 620 update. I'm Jackson Groff. Arizona State Sun Devils tip off at 5:30 p.m. against Nebraska in the first ever college basketball crown tournament in Viva Las Vegas with a grand prize of $300,000 going to the winner. Sun star Kevin Durant will miss at least 1 week after injuring his ankle last night against the Rockets. He's out for Phoenix's road trip with upcoming games against the Milwaukee Bucks, Boston Celtics, and New York Knicks. Lastly, Diamondbacks third baseman Gino Suarez wins NL Player of the Week after crushing 4 homers and 7 RBIs, tying Aaron Judge for the MLB lead in home runs. Watch the Final Four at any of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations with ice-cold Bud Light and neutral specials, but join us for your chance to win $25,000 next Monday as we host a championship game at Twin Peaks Tempe. That's Twin Peaks Tempe. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views. Frank Sanders is next.
Hey, Arizona, it's Mike Wilbon. I've been around sports professionally and personally for a long, long time. And whether you're on a court, in the gym, or just navigating a tough day, you need to stay hydrated. That's where Cocoa 5 comes in. Cocoa 5 isn't your average sports drink, packed with the electrolytes your body craves, but without the artificial junk you don't need. Available at your favorite stores. Cocoa 5 Active Hydration. Stay hydrated, Arizona.
Life's a sprint, and you need a quick pick-me-up. Meet G2G protein bars, the ultimate grab-and-go meal replacement. Whether you're hustling in the office, enjoying a day on the links, or conquering the daily grind, G2G is your perfect fuel. Score an 8-pack at your local Costco's refrigerated section, or explore amazing flavors at G2Gbar.com. Quick, delicious, and power-packed. G2G protein bars, setting the pace for your energetic lifestyle.
Attention golf lovers and putting enthusiasts. Are you ready to elevate your game? At Putting World, we've got cutting-edge technology that'll have you sinking putts like a pro. With high-tech simulators and expert coaches, you'll be on your way to mastering that tricky 6-footer in no time. Check us out at puttingworld.com. Whether you're a seasoned golfer or a newbie who thinks a hole-in-one is just a fancy donut, there's a place for you at Putting World. Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and a resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
He played 8 seasons with the Arizona Cardinals. The Sandman.
Sanders caught it! Touchdown, Auburn! Frank Sanders from Nix! Auburn's ahead!
Frank Sanders joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. right here on ESPN 620.
Frank Sanders joins us now on the right Toyota guest line. You can follow him on X at Frank Sanders 81. Proud Auburn,
sure is
alum.
Yeah.
You obviously have winning the NCAA tournament, right? You filled out your bracket. You didn't take Duke or someone else, right? You took Auburn.
I took Auburn in probably bracket number
7.
Probably number 6.
Ye of little faith, Frank. Ye of little faith.
When you were at school there, being the superstar you were, and you obviously never paid for a drink. You know, you were an athlete. You had probably the Camaro, the Z28, whatever you were driving back then. But was the basketball program good when you were there?
Yeah, our basketball program was decent. I would say. I wouldn't say it was great. You got to remember Shaquille O'Neal was still at LSU at that time, and he was coming through the Southeast Conference pretty heavily. But our basketball team is pretty good. We actually got Chuck Person, who actually ended up being one of the played in the NBA a couple of years. Moochie Norris is the rifleman, right? Yeah, Chuck, his older brother and his younger brother came through Auburn, and so Auburn had some good players. But again, the schools at that time in the early 90s, you guys know exactly who they were. It was definitely Kentucky, Duke, UConn, Connecticut at that time. Those guys are probably the better programs in the country at that time.
So you as a superstar football player there, and you obviously you supported the men's basketball team, right? You went to all those games because I'm sure they went to yours, right?
Yeah.
Come on, you did not.
No, I really did. No, real talk. We had our basketball program was, again, when you realize that the history of our basketball program,
and a guy by the name of Charles Barkley. Auburn athletics, really had some good athletes, some good stars that came through. I lived in my dormitory at the time, Sewell Hall, and repeatedly on multiple occasions, the football team and the basketball team stayed in the same dormitory for the most part. It was only just basically, those two sports that supported that lived at Sewell Hall. But Rock, I mean, one of the greatest things about being at Sewell Hall, you could see Bo Jackson come back, Joe Cribbs would come back, Charles Barkley walk through the hallways, Frank Thomas would come through the hallways and come back and meet the former guys that was there. And, so we had a bunch of guys that walked through the hallways that, so we had a good relationship with all sports that was there. Remember, I did play baseball, so Frank Thomas coming through the hallways and Bo coming through the hallways were always one of the best moments at Auburn.
Why you got a name drop? I mean, seriously.
So he is, man.
I just come from a university with a lot of great players that that just kind of did some special things in athletics.
Yeah, see, at Ohio U, I had Al Bundy. I had who else did I have? I had
Mike Schmidt come from Ohio.
Schmidt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's about it.
Those are some great names. Hey, you can't beat Al Bundy though. You can't beat Al Bundy.
Hall and Arsenio Hall.
Oh, that's good.
So Frank, is it just a matter of just out? You look at the SEC back then. You look at all the blue bloods you mentioned. Is it just a matter about spending the rest of them for the SEC to have the prominence that they are right now when you watch this basketball going on?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, you look at the ability to bring the money in from the SEC in itself. The ability now with the NILs and these the ability to offer players certain money that's at certain at any level you want to offer it to them at, and so you're just going to get the best athletes to come to your organization. But again, the SEC, when you guys, when you just look at the football programs and look at how the dormitories look or how the facilities look and what they offer these guys in multiple, layers of uniforms and colors and the way they are celebrated on their campuses and things like that. So the SEC runs itself at a high level business. Some of it's better than the NFL in itself. And without a doubt, when you got those programs, you're going to get the best athletes. And just alone tradition, the NCAA literally changed everything it had, from travel to allowing NIL programs to changing conferences easily, and Texas coming to the SEC, Oklahoma in the SEC. Those are universities that we never thought would happen, but because of the money and the level of competition that was being played there, they were always pretty much guaranteed to be viable for the national championship or the BCS at that time. They changed all that because of that, and so now you're just seeing, once you have the money, the players are coming to the programs and Rock there. Again, you've been to many SEC schools and you've seen what the programs look like and how the fan base is.
Mm-hmm. So, Frank, do you feel, which we're probably going to see in several years, super conference in football, and also a super conference in basketball, because the have-nots, obviously, with the mid-majors will struggle because of NIL. Can you see go down that road as well, participating with the super conferences basketball, or for those that aren't in big conferences to formulate their own and just leave the mid-majors out on their own?
Unfortunately, you will see that. And I mean, that's just based upon the fact that there are a couple of things we look at and we say, the level of competition is one thing, but not just the level of competition, the ability to watch the discrepancy in how many guys get hurt. So you got to protect players that are not at that, when the bigger schools are playing the smaller schools, you tend to say, hey, you big school let off after the first half and then take those guys out so your second and third team can get in, because of just the ability to, just to watch how it plays out. The money that's on the table for the schools that's in the big conferences is absolutely ridiculous, and it's only getting better. And then when you add the betting that's on the table right now, you want to see the best players versus the best players so you can get a better product out there. And when you watch the SEC, just watching the SEC last year was absolutely crazy because it felt like a bowl game every week, the way the schedule was set up. And so I think that's just the competition you want to see. Unfortunately for those schools that, we can watch guys develop and become those major upsets that might happen, that will become few and far between just because of the level of competition.
So because the SEC failed miserably pretty much in football in postseason play,
Wow.
How do you
let him down easy, Jimmy?
I did. I let him down.
Careful,
easy.
man.
Failed miserably. How do you see then the SEC resurrecting itself to become that power conference again and not the Big Ten?
Yeah, mix in a win once in a while, Frank.
I mean, thank you guys for that quick notation of humility. Rock, they learned from you very well, so I want to say thank you for that. Gentlemen, I will say this here, though. When you look at what we just saw this past year, I will say the difference in everything was the ability to keep your coaches in play. Like, I really will say that. Like, the SEC, when you lose a Saban and you lose some of the coaches that was there in the SEC, the players aren't the same. You're watching just this carousel of changing in and out of players. The SEC took a beating this year in regards to the postseason play when it comes to, the playoff system. And it was that. And that was good to see, too, in its own right, because we watched teams that, left conferences and then and teams that came into conferences end up winning championships. You look at ASU. Who would have thought? Dillingham, praise God to Coach Dillingham, because he's a great coach and he knows how to run a program and get his guys excited about playing every week in and out, despite the competition. The SEC took a beating this year, and I'm pretty sure that won't go across. That won't be looked upon this year and the upcoming season as something we got to, they got to fix that. And that's just a kudos to the other conferences that got better.
All right, we got close to 3.5 weeks before the draft. What more can the Cardinals do, or do you feel they should do with free agency or some of the guys that are out there prior to the draft to shore up wherever situation, or just focus on guys that they can draft, come in here and be an impact, or fill some of those holes that free agents they feel may not?
One of the biggest things I would always say, and I've been saying for a couple of years, is one thing. We have to continually do a better job, unless there's something behind the closed doors, of magnifying the greatness and the leadership quality of Kyler Murray. I just think that if you want the players to come in and show up with all the discrepancies that's stated about him in some way or some form, needs to be assured that he is a great leader and that he will be not only a great player. We cannot deny that he's a great athlete and playing a position where he's been pretty good at. But the other stuff that comes on the table when it comes to leadership, unfortunately, I think that he gets a bad rap for that. And so I think I would love to see the Cardinals do a better job of that, just continually magnifying how great he's going to be. And he's going to be our future leader and what we want to do on and off the field with the Arizona Cardinals moving forward. Bringing in other players, I mean, I saw what we did to our defensive line. We did a hell of a job of upshoring our defensive line and bringing some players in that can kind of really stop the run, which was not a good sight for what we looked like at the end of the season. I would love to see 2 more hot names on the ticket that we can bring in that will bring some, just again, notoriety and some fear to what the Arizona Cardinals are bringing forward in the 25-26 season. That to me would be exceptionally well for if they go out and get some name guys, 2 more name guys they can bring in offensively that will add to what they already have on the board.
Does Amani Cooper do anything for you to bring him in? I mean, he's experienced, he's a veteran. May not have the speed, but there's a name you're just talking about. I think to help out that receiving corps.
I like that. I mean, I don't know how much gas he still has in the tank and how much he really wants to still be moving. This would probably be his 8th system he'd be moving into when it comes to being in the NFL, probably 7th. New system or new team he'd be on playing in the NFL. And that to me kind of gets scary, especially when you're at this stage of the game and the end of your career. But I do think we need speed. One thing we lack is not size, because our guys are big. We're looking at 6'3", 6'4" receivers. We're looking at a 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and our guy, Gregory Dortch, is the anomaly. But I would love to see speed on the outside, because what Manuch has always been asking for is that 45 to 65-yard pass, man, just to get over the top.
Home run hitter, Frank. Home run hitter.
If we can go out and get 2 of those guys either in the draft and we can get solid on that, I'd be happy with that. I just know, Rob, right now defenses play. Every defense we've seen in the last 3 years has been one job. If we stop Kyler, we stop them, and that's been on the table since we've seen it.
Frank, as always, thanks for improving the program, buddy. Have a good week.
All right, brothers. Love you guys, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too. That's Frank Sanders joining us On the right Twitter guest, I follow him on his X page, Frank Sanders 81, and he's all over Instagram as well. We got a learner row one call. That's all. Stephen A. Smith goes off on First Take on the Phoenix Suns on just how bad this team is. Hey, you will hear from that next. Plus, we got ASU Nebraska basketball coming up at 5:30 here on ESPN 620. So we'll tell you about that as well. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
It's the championship game. Who will seize that one shining moment? Make plans to join Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B for the Ultimate Hoops Finals Party at Tempe Twin Peaks, Monday, April 7th. The guys broadcast 1 to 4, then the event begins at 5 p.m., courtesy of Bud Light and Neutral. At halftime, you'll have a chance to roll the jumbo dice for $25,000. Don't miss the excitement at Tempe Twin Peaks, or catch it at one of the other 4 locations. Twin Peaks, eats, drinks, scenic views.
Join us at Van's Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to test drive the new Ping G440 Woods and Irons. The new G440 driver delivers faster ball speeds along with Ping's game-changing forgiveness. The G440 irons are designed for more distance and control with a player-style look. Book your fitting in-store or online. Van's Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf, proudly serving golfers since 1963 and home to the legendary 90-day 100% satisfaction guarantee. Get there.
Have you been arrested for something you didn't do? When your liberty is on the line, you need an aggressive, experienced attorney to defend your rights. Lerner Rowe Law Group is the firm you can trust with your freedom. Our criminal defense attorneys have represented thousands of clients across the state, and with our affordable payment plans, you can get the defense you need immediately. If you've been wrongly charged with a crime, time is not on your side. Call Lerner Rowe today for a free consultation. We're available to help you 24/7.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Did you bust your bracket? Lose a few bucks? No worries. Roc, Manuch, and Jimmy D are here to help you win cash during their College Hoops Playoffs final weekend viewing party at the WKP Sportsbook in Wekopa Casino Resort. Join them for free cash props and squares contests for both Saturday games. Plus, you can roll the jumbo dice for a chance to win $50,000 during both halftimes. Cash money! Enjoy Dos Equis specials and win cash just for watching with them.
Taxes was feeling so stuck. Sitting in traffic, squeezing into a parking spot, all to squeeze in getting tax help during your lunch break. Now Taxes is a TurboTax expert who does your taxes for you, while you go about your day getting real-time notifications about their progress and the most money back guaranteed. Now this is Taxes. Intuit TurboTax. Get an expert now on TurboTax.com. Only available with TurboTax Live Full Service, real-time updates only on iOS mobile apps. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantees.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
It's the Lerner and Rowe one call, that's all call of the day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
They don't look like they want to play. When I say the word atrocity, I'm not talking about bad basketball. Bad basketball happens. I'm talking about a team, a collection of parts that show up on the basketball court and 19,000 people in attendance can see they're not interested in being there. They're not interested in playing. That's what we see. I watched this game last night. Now, I know Houston was busting their living ass, and that can demoralize you. The problem is I saw lethargy before the score piled up, down 78-49 at the half. 78-49. They don't look like they want to play. They look like they can't wait for the season to be over. And they have been looking like this for most of this season. It's really bad. The ownership has to change everything. And I mean everything. They got to go. You got to purge that squad. It is bad in Phoenix because they just look like they don't want to play.
Living ass. Yep. That's Stephen A. Smith on First Take. That's just how bad. It's a pretty good interview. We spent some time with it in the 2 o'clock hour. You can check that out at rockandmanuch.com as we have all our streaming up there, YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, all that is there. Lerner Row, if you're in a wreck and you need a check, make one call. That's all, 602-977-1900. And always at lernerandrow.com. They can help. Again, one call. That's all, 602-977-1900. All right, here's what's on tap, brought to you by Dos Equis and the Roc and Manuch. Amber, ASU, Nebraska. You'll hear it right here on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2. That's coming up at 5:30. Tomorrow, D-backs are in New York to face the Yankees, and that will also be on here on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2. That game will first pitch at 4:05, pregame starting at 3:30. Suns and Bucks, 4:30 tomorrow on Arizona Sports 98.7. That game is also on TNT. That's not good. So that's the schedule for the next 2 days. But as we mentioned, Arizona and Arizona State, that is, and Nebraska, 5:30 on FS1 tonight. The winner will then take on the winner of Georgetown and Washington State in the quarterfinals, which is on April 2nd, which is Wednesday. And then the semi and the championship games, they'll take place April 5th and 6th. So ASU is one of, 5 Big 12 teams that are in this field. Some pretty good teams. Utah, Butler. That happened earlier today with Butler winning by 2. Right now, George Washington is down to Boise State. These are good games to bet, by the way. Mm-hmm. Georgetown and Washington State. Also, you got DePaul and Cincinnati, Oregon State, Central Michigan, Colorado, Villanova, and Tulane and USC. So those are the teams in this Crown Invitational.
Yeah,
Crown Invitational.
Yeah, in Vegas. Hey, I have a quick question, and then we'll get to the one call. When Stephen A. was talking, is it lethargy or is it lethargy?
They were very lethargic. I can say that.
I've never heard it. When he said that, I knew what it meant, but I've never heard it used on television.
I would say like that.
I like if ever heard it used.
I was just
you would say you would say lethargy. The way that you said it.
Yeah, lethargy. I already said they're very lethargic when they play.
Yeah, yes, we know that.
To that point, but lethargy, it's first already its proper context, Jimmy.
He's a scribe, man. I'll tell you, I first met him when he was at the Daily News when I was at the University of Penn. He was covering everything in Philadelphia, and then he went on and became huge, as you know, and now he's going to run for president. So, yeah, it's hey, you get it when you're hot, man. These guys everywhere, and that's why he's going to make $100 million a year.
Well, whether you like him or not, when he talks, you listen.
Yeah, you do.
He's very articulate.
He's articulate. He's got his point is well taken for us Suns fans. It's very well taken. Speaking of the Suns, our State 40 Roofing, it's your call question of the day for a free quote, repair, or installation. Head to state40roofing.com and follow them on social media by searching hashtag #SexyRoofStatus. Here's our first. We got 2 of them. Just go to Roc and Manuch on Twitter. You can vote on both of these. Should the Suns shut it down with 7 games remaining? Very simple, yes or no. Or if you could watch only one Final Four game, which one would it be? Would it be the Florida-Auburn game or the Duke versus Houston game? Jimmy, let's go look at the first one first. The Suns' remaining 7 games. Should they shut it down?
Actually, it's closer than I thought it would be. I thought it would be a resounding yes. Yes at 57.1%. No at 42.9%. So it is closer than what I anticipated.
Would you vote? Which way did you vote on that one?
I went yes.
I said no. It's never over till it's over. You never know.
I knew that you would
never
do that,
know.
But they stink.
Well, they do. No matter whether everybody's playing. But you know what? You play it out.
I know you play it out.
I mean, Dallas has won 3 in a row with Davis in it. They could lose 3 in a row. Sacramento has won 1 in a row. Mm-hmm. They could fall out. Suns being 1.5 games out of
That's what they are.
And 2.5 from the other spot is also interesting.
I think the challenge is it's kind of in the middle. If they lose 7, does it really make a difference in the draft?
And I don't think it will.
Because do they have any draft picks anyway?
I don't think that's
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I mean, don't they have like 2 draft picks in the next 10 years?
They're controlled by everybody. But
I'm being facetious, but I do not think they have many.
All right, Jimmy, the Final Four. What do you have there? Who would people prefer to watch?
This was a resounding yes. Duke Houston game, 80%. Florida Auburn 20%.
Yeah, I picked Duke Houston as well
me too.
I mean, does Houston have enough offense? They got the defense to be the Duke team that's got a lot of offense and has showing the defense. That's the reason I'd want to watch
The
this.
difference in the Houston matchup with Duke will be Duke's big front line, and that front line, even though they're young, they're not young anymore, as we talked to Coach about that, Nick Adris, when he talked about saying that now they have played so many games, they aren't freshmen anymore.
And the thing is, how do these young guys handle the physicality of Houston that comes at you in waves on defense?
Mm-hmm.
They come after you, they come after you, they come after you. And the guys off the bench are just as adept, maybe not offensively,
right,
but defensively.
And
that's what Calvin Sampson preaches
yes,
up and down the court.
Yes, and I agree with that statement, but I think Duke is the much better team, and they will get Houston in foul trouble, and that will be the Cougars' undoing.
Free throws again.
Yep.
Go back to the Phoenix Suns. At least according to Arizona Sports, first-round pick. Suns will have the least favorable first-round pick between the Cavs and the Timberwolves. So you're looking at maybe 29.
Yeah.
And then additional picks is they have a swap option with the Rockets for their 2025 first-round pick, which could involve the Thunder's pick as well. And then they have some future considerations. The draft status may also involve the conditions based on other team performances, particularly the Brooklyn Nets for the KD trade.
Could you say perfect storm for the Suns team right now? It couldn't get any worse.
Unbelievable.
I mean,
it really is.
If they don't make the play-in, and then you look at this draft status, you talked about or lack thereof. Okay, what are you going to do now, James Jones, if you're still the GM of this team?
So
where do you go?
What if they do squeak in? Does it make it more difficult if they all of a sudden they get in and they win a round?
Now that would really be.
Would that be a challenge? I mean, because at the end of the day, all you're doing is trying to get to the playoffs.
Yes.
You could care less about all the.
That's right.
All the minutia and the roller coaster ride that the Suns have been on all year.
That would be frightening because now what do we do?
What
do we do?
If they do win the play-in term and they make the playoffs,
Big if.
does that keep big if
they get OKC?
Is that the tonic or seltzer, you want to call it, that cures that to get them into what you're talking about
not
next
for
year?
me.
Does that
And
cure
we
all
always
that?
say, just get in the tournament.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Cinderella.
Oh my God! And you said there were no Cinderellas
Stephen
anymore.
A. Smith, you eat some crow.
But I don't know. You watch this
I
team
would
with all the
love
guys in it. I mean, they can't. You got 3 games on the road, prominent teams without KD. Looks like Bill's probably not going to be there as well too. They were at first talking about the KD would stay behind, get the MRI, and then maybe join the team on the road, but not anymore as of today.
Yeah.
He will not join the team. They'll go on the road, and it's going to be tough in reference to trying to beat Milwaukee on the road, Boston on the road, and the Knicks on the road, all within 1 week. And that's just, if they can pull a rabbit out of their hat, then I think that you look at that and go, hey, they made it in. How far did they get when they made it? Hey, they made it to the playoffs.
I bet they're just enjoying going to Milwaukee, going to a nice dinner, then going into Boston. It's a nice dinner. Of course, finish it off in New York on Saturday night because they play on, I think, Sunday. So
Sunday, right.
Enjoy it, right? Why not? Enjoy the East Coast trip. Use that per diem.
The only team that really isn't playing for much right now is Boston. Milwaukee's playing for their life. So are the Knicks right now as well, trying to move on.
We'll do it again tomorrow. We appreciate you hanging out with us today. We know you have choices coming up here on ESPN 620 at 5:30. ASU basketball. Not sure who will be in the uniforms playing, who will be, actually out there on the court, but they do play the Cornhuskers. That's at 5:30 right here on ESPN 620. So we'll be back here on Tuesday. So we appreciate you listening. If you missed anything, go to rockandmanuch.com. So for Jimmy, for Manuch, for Connor, and for Jax, I'm Rock.